Begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A-Fiasco. What's up, everyone, and welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I'm your host, Simon, joined as always by my co-hosts, John Luke Garofalo and Andrew Cooper. What's up, boys?
What up?
Hey.
Okay.
Hey, you guys doing all right this morning?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Doing great
How
this
you
morning.
doing?
I'm doing fantastic this morning. I might have just woken up every member of my family at 7 a.m. screaming from the guest bedroom, but it's the
They should have
holidays.
already
That's
been
what we
up.
do. That's what we do, right?
Don't they
Yeah,
know it's time for Coop and the Hogs?
Coop
I
and the
just-
hogs.
I would just love if the rest of your family, we just hear from the background, they all go, "Hey, oi, hey."
Yeah, we got to practice. They missed their cue today. They missed their cue.
Yeah, get them going.
Get them
Guys,
going.
It's bright and early this morning. Joey in the chat said, love the thumbnail this morning. Who we got on the thumbnail?
Oh, I don't even know.
Oh, I bet it's really hot. It's probably a picture of Joey. And we got Tommy in the chat. What's up, Tommy? Good morning.
Morning, Tommy.
Oh, and
You want me to do Tommy's rap today?
let's hit it.
Oh, God. All right. See you in 3 years.
It's December 21st and the first day of winter. The season flying by like a world-class sprinter. So let's also slow it down for an hour or three with the FYF crew, JL Coop, Simon, and me. With Keep It Ernie behind the scene and the hogs at the ready. You know who I mean. Jolly Rancher, Squirrel, Bob, Scott, Fish, and Maria. You guys are the best. So happy to see ya. So bring your own breakfast and a joke or two because the FYF crew is here and ready for you. Ooh.
What's up, Tommy? Welcome, man.
Were you quietly booing?
No.
Oh, you were saying
I would never.
I
I
thought-
would,
Boo.
no, I was one of the ones cheering. There was someone booing, but I don't know. It wasn't me.
Yeah, you're like those other dudes on 8 Mile that just keep getting served. But
It must have been T. Higgins behind you, JL. I think that's
who,
the game from T.
Might have been
Higgins.
Rosie.
that was the rest of Simon's family. They were just like, oh,
Yeah.
go back to sleep. Boo.
We shouldn't have woke up for this.
But good morning, hogs. Good morning, FYF agains, front yard agains, FYFers, whatever you want to call them, the chat. Appreciate you guys joining us this morning. And I hope you brought some breakfast because it's that time of day. We brought everything else. We brought the news stories. We brought the topics, the things you got to know. You just got to bring your own breakfast. John Luke, you bring any real breakfast today? You snacking on anything?
Nope. I got my juice though.
Just the juice mug.
Juiced
I
up,
really
dude.
do think we got to just put white ceramic mugs in the shop.
I think it's already there thanks to Jay.
Is it already there?
I think that his boomerness just made him order one already
Immediately.
months ago.
Dude,
Plain white mug with the logo.
After Maria posted the picture, I kind of want one of those juice mugs, dude.
Yeah, I got you. I'll send you one. We got plenty.
Nice. They look nice. Can we get the baseball because something crazy happened in baseball? Can we get the crazy baseball news out of the way real quick? Talk about that one.
Yeah,
we're a football show. I know. Look at Jail. He's like, yeah.
Yes, the baseball news we all know about.
Baseball, yes, dude. So Carlos Correa, for those that don't know, he's a shortstop. Was supposed to play for the San Francisco Giants, signed a massive contract, but they flagged him for a physical, which happens from time to time. And then, a lot of times they get cleared or they renegotiate or whatever. He just said, forget it. I'm going to sign with somebody else. Signed with the Mets. And it's a monster contract, 12 years, $315 million. So he goes to sign with producer Keith's Mets. Just says, smell you later. Pretty wild stuff.
Smell you later.
That's a lot of
That's
money.
nuts. That's nuts. In
know you
football
could do
terms, would that be like if Tom Brady at the last second with the Buccaneers just said nope and signed with the 49ers?
Pretty much, except like Tom Brady in baseball terms would sign. Actually, you'd think that it would be like a 2-year deal, but in baseball, it would be like a 5-year deal where they know he's not going to play the last 3 years. That's how it works in baseball. They sign you till you're like 40, and they're just like, we'll just pay that guy forever.
That's fine.
But yeah, it would be like, I mean, he's pretty big. He's a pretty big player.
It's wild.
How big? How big is he?
He's actually
6'7".
physically not that large, but Aaron Judge is that big.
But emotionally, that's a lot.
Emotionally that big for sure.
Guys, and unfortunately, some news that we were fearing would come out yesterday has officially happened. Jonathan Taylor on the IR. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. So there's no more Jonathan Taylor. We expected it, but it is now official. We'll see Jonathan Taylor next year back on the football field.
Boo.
Yeah, that is a big bummer. Big
Boo.
bummer. Boo. Start your Zach Mosses. Start your Deion Jackson. Start your boos.
Yeah, that's a real shame. And the timing right at fantasy playoffs. Imagine the teams out there. I remember I saw a stat saying that like 30% of underdog teams have Jalen Hurts as their quarterback. Just imagine you have a team with Jalen Hurts and Jonathan Taylor, and you're going into underdog best ball mania where you can win $1 million and you just lose. Those teams are done. So that's crazy.
Well, maybe they have Gardner Minshew and Zach Moss on their teams as well, and then they're just good to go.
I said that they made the playoffs. So they don't have those teams. They don't have those players. Let's be real.
Are you telling me Gardner Minshew wouldn't have helped a best ball team get to the playoffs at this point?
I mean, as team captain, bringing the morale, possibly. But points-wise, probably not cracking a whole lot of lineups, my boys.
Nah.
Zach Moss last week might have, though. 53 snaps. Big snap getter over there.
2 QB leagues, the super flex leagues, I picked up some Minshew. I'm probably going to have to play him. I don't feel too bad about it.
I mean, we've seen it before. Last time he played was last year, the game that Jalen Hurts rolled his ankle. He came in, threw over 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then at the end of the year, they had one of those games where they already had a playoff spot locked up. They let him play, and he threw 2 touchdowns in that game too, without some of the weapons. So, I mean, the guy's a gunslinger. I trust him over. I would start him over a number of guys, right? We start him over Desmond Ridder. Agreed?
Oh, yeah.
Start him over Mac Jones, for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Start him over Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Assuming Ryan Tannehill's out. Baker Mayfield or Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
Right. It's like
what about Baker Mayfield or Gardner Minshew or the Steelers quarterback, Mitch Trubisky.
Kenny Pickett.
Or whoever starts there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not so Kenny Pickett. Brock Purdy has more touchdown passes this year than Kenny Pickett, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening over there.
They're just not throwing it into the end zone area. There's that portion of the field, the most important one. But I mean, honestly, Minshew in Superflex is like locked in, and same with 2QB. Now that I'm going through it, because you're not going to start Colt McCoy.
No,
you're not going to start the Ripper, Brett Ripien, right?
No.
I mean, are we starting Matt Ryan?
No. And so Trace, and then Colt McCoy, if we're not starting him, if it's Trace McSorley, we're not starting him as well.
Him. Are you starting Tyler Huntley?
He's very startable, Gardner Minshew. He's probably starting in most Superflex leagues.
I mean, dude, at this point with the names we said, Andy Dalton, are you starting Andy Dalton? Are you starting Taylor Heineke? Like
definitely not this week. Man.
Maybe Heineke.
Minshew, based on the names we've dropped already, Minshew might be like QB 50. So, like seriously,
he's coming into a good offense, which is a big part of it, right? The weapons around him, the offensive line, AJ Brown, Miles Sanders. I feel like he's coming into a good situation. So I'm optimistic about Gardner Minshew.
We've come this far, so we might as well find where that line is. Are you starting Daniel Jones over him?
Yeah, I'll start Daniel Jones.
JL, you too. Jared Goff,
probably. Yeah. I think,
yeah.
Both those guys that started above him.
Derek Carr as well.
Yep, all of those guys.
That's probably right where the line is then. Okay, so he's probably QB 18 or 19 or so.
And Joey in here saying, and we have 6 games with serious wind issues. Minshew will finish top 12 this week. Yeah. Same with the wind issues. Maybe that's
like you're bringing up like Andy Dalton. That game we talked about it yesterday a little bit. 31.5 total set by Vegas.
Justin Fields and Josh Allen playing in a tough win game this week.
We are going to be depending on you boys on Sunday. For those listening, Fantasy Alarm is a show 9 to 11. the Fantasy Alarm playbook with me and John and Pemba, the game day playbook. And then right after is the FYF show from 11 to 1. And you guys are going to have to scrounge up what you can for information, get some people with boots on the ground out there, see if somebody on Reddit is out in the parking lot throwing a football, which is like a meme over there. They are like, one guy one time was like, I'm out in the parking lot, I just threw a football. It's going to be tough sledding today. So now the meme is like, anytime someone brings up weather, they're like, somebody get out there in the parking lot and chuck a ball. So, yeah, but I mean, the Bills one, since we last talked about it, going up. They're saying 23-mile-an-hour winds. The other day when we talked about on Monday, 18-mile-an-hour. So now the weather's going the wrong direction for that game. The Saints-Browns game, they're saying 26-mile-an-hour. Anything 15 to 20 miles an hour is when it starts getting dicey. Over 20, that is a serious problem. That's when statistics plummet.
And Joey in here saying Cleveland might have up to 63-mile-per-hour gusts coming through there is what they're saying now. That's absurd. That would be absurd. Yeah, just 63 miles per hour. Not a big deal.
Is that worse than wind?
Gusts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gusts, I forget what the power is, but it's got like 100% accuracy to move.
2 times 2x.
I think that's actually, I would think you would think that would be the main problem. Like if the wind was consistent, you could kind of triangulate it a little bit. It's just the fact that,
but now you throw the ball and then it's like whoosh, right. And the ball is gone.
But I'll tell you one thing, like people have been leaning on a guy like Tyler Bass all year. Can you start that guy in 26-mile-an-hour winds? I feel like no. So now you got to tough week to be Lindellians over there. That's a rough set trying to predict these kickers this week.
No, yeah, pay attention to the weather specifically for the kickers. The wind specifically makes it hard for them to do their job. We were talking about Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew, assuming he's going to start this week. But I did see an update yesterday come from Ari Myrov on Twitter talking about Nick Sirianni. And Nick Sirianni said he's not ruling out Jalen Hurts for this week because he's a fast healer. Quote, his body is not quote, his body is not like ours. I will not rule him out, is what Nick Sirianni said about Jalen Hurts.
What's in the water over there in Philly? This is the same thing we heard from Dallas Goedert, right? Remember Dallas Goedert was like, I've healed faster. I have Wolverine skin.
Yeah.
Remember he was like, I have a little superpower. It's called psoriasis. Everyone's like, what are you talking about? and then he was like, they should never put me in IR. And then they activated him from IR and he's not ready to play.
Yep.
Good job, Dallas.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts reportedly, when they asked him what he thinks about his status and the injury, he said, I want to do what's best for the team. So ultimately a team player.
Yeah, I like that. It's like,
of course he said that.
Meanwhile, Mike White is waking up doctors in the middle of the night being like, look at my ribs. Can I play? And they're all like, like
please, just sign my paper.
And different doctors
just let
are
me
like,
play.
And different doctors are like, see this thing that looks like pickup sticks over here, like poked into your lungs? That's where your ribs used to be, Mike.
I get it though. Yeah. If you were Mike White, wouldn't you really want to play? Know what I mean? Like
this is your opportunity.
You got to get every second out of this because it might be fleeting. Maybe he's the real deal, but if I had to bet money on it, I would bet not. Like this is the 6-game stretch where Mike White gets to be Mike MF and White. You know what I mean? He's not going to be Mike MF and White for the rest of his life. He's just going to be Mike White.
Mike White, yeah.
Just imagine. His
girlfriend's just waiting.
when Mo Lewis hit Drew Bledsoe, dude, if he played when he broke his ribs, if he just played and we didn't get Tom Brady, the course of history could have been altered.
Yeah, this could be one of those history-defining moments in the league. Or
it could be next Drew Bledsoe.
Could be Drew Bledsoe down there in Tampa Bay right now getting just wrecked, but almost winning the division.
I was about to say, but about to win the division anyways and still sneak their way into the playoff.
Classic.
What could have been?
What could have been? Speaking
of the Eagles did activate Dallas Goedert this week. So he is expected to play this week. Simon, what are you thinking about Dallas Goedert with Minshew back?
I think you can start Dallas Goedert, especially in the tight end landscape. Like, what are you going to do? Start Noah Fant over Dallas Goedert, Tyler Higbee over Dallas Goedert? Like, I think he jumps in right ahead of those must-start guys, probably right below Evan Ingram. As far as like guys I'm starting, guys I'm trusting, like I'm not starting him over Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, TJ Hawkinson, Evan Ingram, probably not David Njoku. And then he's in that conversation. You can start talking about Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, if these guys coming off injury, you have to pay close attention to what people are saying, because David Njoku, the first time he came back, he only played 19 snaps. Like, we don't know what the snap share is like here. It's almost like now he's in the same boat as crazy as to say, like Taysom Hill and Jeff Driscoll, where the ceiling is high, the floor is low. If this was a better matchup, it'd be a lot easier, but he has one of the worst matchups with the Cowboys, right? So it's tough. But on the flip side, Gardner Minshew, the last time we talk about the game that counted, the game that mattered, not the Week 17 game where he threw 2 touchdowns. Guess who caught both of those touchdowns?
Dallas
Jail. Such a good guess. Such
Bingo.
a smart guy.
So smart guy.
Nick Sirianni.
It was Nick Sirianni.
Good guess. Good guess.
Actually, he called them. He called them both. So, it's one of those situations where at a certain point, I look at some of the guys that are starting half the snaps, and I just have to go with Dallas Goedert. Like, would you start Chig Okonkwo? Simon, I know it's your baby, but would you start Chig playing 50% of the snaps, or would you start Dallas Goedert? Would you start Pat Freiermuth, who's only played 50% of the snaps the last 3 games, or Dallas Goedert?
Chig definitely not with Treylon Burks coming back. Just can't do it.
And Ryan Tannehill out.
Yeah. So I'm with Pat Freiermuth. That one's close. That one's going to come down to, like, how confident are we that Dallas Goedert's going to play a full snap share? If I'm confident Dallas Goedert's going to play a full snap share, he's probably ahead of Pat Freiermuth if the talk is good heading into this weekend. But otherwise, I'm probably feel a little bit more comfortable with Freiermuth.
And you mentioned Tyler Higbee. Don't mention Tyler Higbee's name.
I'm so sorry.
I tweeted some stuff out yesterday. The last 4 games, I talked about how he had been blocking on more pass plays. So I was like, why don't I just look up the actual numbers so we have the numbers. The only tight end that's finished like top 5 in fantasy football for a season, blocking over 15% of his pass plays, was George Kittle, 15.9%. So you want to be under 15%. These are his last games: 31.3%, 31%, 24.4%, 34.8%. This guy's basically playing offensive tackle for a third of the plays. And over the last 7 games, he has 170 yards. Chiefs backup tight end Noah Gray has 187. So for me, Tyler Higbee is way off the radar.
Suck it, Higbee from Coop.
That's right, dude.
Love Coop.
And while we're talking tight ends, I want to ask you guys what you think about this comment. A little bit of news here. Hey, this was picked up by the mics because Dawson Knox happened to be mic'd up on Saturday night, right? After the game, Mike Gesicki to a mic'd up Dawson Knox, "I'm just happy they're blank using you." I believe the word was effing there. So I'm just happy they're effing using you, talking about his lack of snaps and Dawson Knox actually getting to play and scoring touchdowns. On the hot mic, boys. Well, how do you feel about that one?
I mean, I understand these guys are athletes competing at the highest level, right? There's got to be some level of drive and desire to be on the field. They're not the like Alex Morans of Blue Mountain State where they just want to sit on the sideline. And it probably is frustrating for Gesicki. But Gesicki, the problem is you're not very good. So they're going to throw the ball to Jalen Waddle. They're going to throw the ball to Tyreek Hill. So I apologize, my friend, but I get it. These are athletes competing. And is Dawson Knox really getting used like super heavily more than Mike Gesicki? I think he just saw him catch a touchdown and was like, man, what could have been? What could have been?
These are the snaps last 3 games for Gesicki: 9, 20, and 12. And over that span, he has 5 targets, 1 catch for 5 yards. He's not even in my rankings. He's not even in my tight end rankings. I ranked like 30-something guys.
Not getting in there. What do you think the issue is? Just he's not good?
I think the issue is this. I think it's you have Mike McDaniel coming over from the 49ers, where it's a specific offense. He runs that offense, right? And you need a 2-way tight end for that offense, a guy that can block and catch passes like George Kittle. The closest thing that they have is Durham Smythe. Even though he can't catch, the blocking is so important to the scheme. He has to play tight end. So what that basically does is it makes Mike Gesicki a slot wide receiver. And when you sit there and say, who's a better slot wide receiver, Mike Gesicki or an actual slot wide receiver, Trent Sherfield or Cedric Wilson or whoever, The answer is not Mike Gesicki, dude. Right? So he ends up just being like a rotational slot guy, right? That's making $10 million guaranteed.
No, the most frustrating thing, I feel like, I thought Mike Gesicki was going to be a great tight end coming out of college. I have him on a lot of dynasty teams, and then I swear, every time I watched him, it was catch and fall, catch and fall, catch and fall, catch. Like it was nothing would happen after the catch. But that was one of the things, like, he has the athleticism to do something after the catch. It's been one of the more baffling things for me in the NFL. Like, I really thought Gesicki was going to be one of those after the catch kind of guys, but he's been the exact opposite in the NFL.
Well, that's what it is. He's got the speed, but he can't break tackles. So, like, he has one broken tackle all year. Last year, he had 4. In 2019, he got 80 targets and ran 500 routes, and he didn't break a single tackle during that season. So what you're seeing is actually what's happening. Like, he runs like a 5.2, which is like 90th percentile 40 time, but he just can't he can't keep his balance. It's craziness.
Wow.
Hopefully once he's on a new team, we're able to see him do a little better.
Yeah.
Get used a little bit more. Like, I just think, the fit isn't there. He definitely shows flashes of talent, which is promising, but
I'm buying him in Dynasty, to be honest, because when back when Adam Gase was the coach, he had him blocking on like 18% of pass plays, which is brutal. Then they brought in Chan Gailey to be the offensive coordinator. Chan Gailey famously had, for the Chiefs, had Tony Gonzalez run the second most snaps in the entire league from the slot, counting wide receivers, not just tight ends. It was literally Hines Ward and then Tony Gonzalez for slot snaps under Chan Gailey. Then he went to the Jets, had Eric Decker playing the big slot, right? And then Mike Gesicki was playing that role for Chan Gailey. That's when he was a top 5-6 tight end in fantasy. And then fast forward to now, you bring in another coach that doesn't even utilize that type of player. That's why it blows my mind that they use the franchise tag on a player that doesn't even fit in the scheme, right? So he's gone. Jail, you're right. He's going to go somewhere else. And I'll be interested to see where he goes and how that team uses him. Because if a team does want to use him the way you should as a big slot guy, could be nice. Look at Evan Ingram in the Jags, right?
There we go. And we got Craig in the chat. Good morning, Craig. Welcome in.
Morning,
and
Craig.
Craig's saying, don't break tackles. They are expensive to replace. So
Very true.
Any teams out there looking for a new tight end who's not going to break any of your tackles, Mike Gesicki is so careful with them. He's only broken 1 all season.
Yeah, and if you do, just let me sign your cast. That's all I ask.
Tyler Conklin, yeah, he's very gentle around your tackles. I think he's played 75 games career and only has 4, so that's pretty good.
Did you guys see the Eagles sent Doug Peterson a big thank you this week?
No.
Sent him like 35 cheesesteaks and like 25 orders of fries for clinching that division, I guess, and helping them out.
That's awesome. But now they didn't like actually send the cheesesteaks. They had to buy them from a local place, I imagine.
Yeah, it was a local Jacksonville spot, and the guy who owns the restaurant was like, yeah, I thought it was fake at first. He's like, then the guy from the Eagles organization called. He's like, I knew it was real, and Jacksonville confirmed it.
I appreciate the gesture, but like if 35 cheesesteaks showed up, like me and my wife are just sitting on the couch and 35 cheesesteaks showed up, I don't even know what I would do. Like bring them to work. Like coworkers.
I'm imagining the cheesesteak place. Like, Joe, you say they thought it was fake. The call probably went like, hello? Yes, this is the Eagles.
The Philadelphia Eagles. Ever heard of us?
We'd like to order 35 cheesesteaks to send to the Jaguars, if you could.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
A nice little thank you for beating the Cowboys. And I love this kind of stuff. I feel like this is what we're here for. This competitive, just like little jabs, little pranks, little goofs.
And Tim said, IDK what I do with the other 20 cheesesteaks. Yeah.
15.
Yeah, after you down 15 of those, I'm not sure what to do with the last 20.
How many fries can you put away with that, Tim?
How long do you think 25. A cheesesteak lasts in tinfoil?
I think there's a reason he didn't mention the fries.
They're gone.
They gone.
And this reminds me of in college, one time Tim and I were working the concession stands at a basketball game, and afterwards they let you take home everything that's left over. So in a box, we just threw like all the leftover hot dogs, bratwurst, hamburgers, chicken fingers wrapped in tinfoil in a box. And that box, I don't eat hot dogs, so I escaped this, but that box sat on the floor in our living room for a week and a half while people just reached in and grabbed hot dogs or brats out of it and heated them up in the toaster oven. In college,
no.
just left hot dogs in the living room in a box. And one by one, Tim would go up, and sometimes, he would scrape some stuff off of it before he put it in the air fryer. But Tim, Luke, those guys were just eating hot dogs out of a box for a week. And we didn't even think anything.
Sounds like heaven.
Sounds like college.
Sounds questionable.
Don't worry.
Sounds like diarrhea.
There was a box in between the black mold in our carpet and the hot dogs in the box, so you didn't even have to worry about it getting in there.
You're fine. There's no such thing as black mold when you're in college.
You grow out of that.
That's just the stuff behind the sink.
Phase.
Not a problem, dude.
It's just the stuff behind the sink.
You just got to wash your toothbrush.
Don't give it
off.
a name.
Yeah, exactly.
I know we've already talked quite a bit about Gardner Minshew, but the story from Jeff McClain came out yesterday that Gardner Minshew lived on an old prison bus this offseason.
Of course
it was
he did.
mostly parked outside his trainer's gym in Florida, but the Eagles allowed him to relocate to NovaCare during spring workouts. Minshew moved, but the bus is still there, he said. I need to sell that thing. Minshew lived on
that thing, man.
I want to see the inside of it. Surely there's a video out there of him giving a tour of his prison bus, right? Because what I'm imagining is nothing converted. It's just a prison bus with like normal seats.
Prison bus.
I'm fully imagining just Into the Wild, but with Gardner Minshew.
Right. Yeah, like the most.
That's all I can picture.
You know what would shock me? A shocking headline would be Gardner Minshew sleeps in a normal bed in an apartment. Like that would shock me, dude.
Gardner Minshew lives in 2-bed, 2-bath apartment with black and white furniture.
No chance. No chance.
Gardner Minshew has not a single poster on his wall.
Gardner Minshew, celibate.
Yeah, those are the most shocking ones, dude. No question he sleeps in a hammock, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
In the bus.
100
There's a hammock inside the bus.
In the bus.
Doubt.
No doubt. dude.
What do they call those things? Enos? Enos?
I got Nino. Yeah, the like
right?
the ones
Those
almost
are
made
big
of like
college.
rain jacket material, but super
Yeah,
strong.
hang in a tree. People just be sleeping up there.
Running back that the Texans cut. And the
Yeah,
Cardinals?
exactly.
Is that how you spell it, or how do you spell it? I don't know.
I think that's how you spell it. ENO.
Yeah, it's spelled ENO, an Eno hammock. It's a brand.
The Eno Benjamin House. Damn it, would have
That's
been a
just
great
a ham-
fantasy fortune puzzle.
That's just a hammock, boys.
It's a
That's
hammock.
just a hammock.
It's a portable hammock. It goes into like a little bag like this, and you can take it wherever
and you can
wanna
like
go.
wrap up in it. You can't do
That's
that with all
like-
hammocks.
That's like if I said tissues and you guys were like, no, Kleenex.
No, they're totally different.
Because-
Normal hammocks have like a wooden bar and it's like rope. This is a different material.
And I think
Type
Jay
of
was saying like the connotation is different for an Eno. Know what I mean? Like regular hammock, I think like
Jimmy Buffett.
beach vibes, Jimmy
Yeah.
Buffett. The Eno, I think like nature, hippie,
Hipster.
like hipster.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Crunchy. So you swap out your like little drink with an umbrella in it for a granola bar. And then-
Exactly.
Then you
You
have
swap
an Eno.
out your faded Hawaiian t-shirt.
Okay.
Yeah,
for
like Tommy
dirty
Bahama
stashes
versus
and
REI.
aviators.
Now I get it.
Yeah.
boys.
Slightly different, but worth calling out here. Albert
Tommy
in the chat.
Bahama versus REI.
REI.
Worth calling out here. Just had to make
Yeah,
sure
we're
we all
just
on the
really
same
worth
page
making
there.
that distinction on this show here.
Tommy says that the prison bus only $25K. It is for sale. He also calls it a love shack.
He
Bus.
calls it the Love Shack.
It was available he was selling it for $40K until he called it the love shack, and then the price plummeted to $25K.
Oh, I thought that would knock it up a couple pegs.
Now,
I see
Absolutely.
Tim in here saying, damn straight the beach isn't nature. Yeah, it's the beach. It's its
Yeah,
own
you ever
thing.
been to Panama City Beach?
That
Sure,
ain't
sure as
nature.
hell ain't nature. Or any beach in
God.
Jersey.
well, okay.
Not
While,
nature.
while we're on this topic,
Of
this
nature?
is a divisive topic. Typically, do you guys like the beach?
Yeah.
Yes. I hate
It's one of my
sand,
favorite places on earth.
but I like the beach.
I don't really love the beach.
Love sand. Love the beach.
I love everything you do. Here's the thing about the beach. Everything besides going in the water, which I mean, could do in a pool. Everything I could do at the
Different.
beach, I can do just in a field.
But it's not next to the ocean. You don't hear the sounds of the water. You can't go.
the vibe is completely
I don't care about
different.
the sounds. I don't care about the vibe. You can sell
Oh,
me
well,
on
then
it.
that's why you don't like the beach. Because
can
those
sell
are
me
all
on
the
it.
reasons why I like it.
Anything you could do in your own house, you can do in a prison bus. So
That's-
I don't
well,
see
see?
why
Well, now
you spend time in your house.
Sorry. I keep
Now you're
cutting you off 'cause
talking-
I think you're being preposterous, but I'll hear you out, Coop.
Now you're talking like Minshew, dude. Now you're using your noggin, right? So, but
So what's the logic?
You can sell me on one thing. Waves that are big enough to body surf, boogie board, or surf on. You can sell me on that. That is an attraction of the beach that you can't really replicate well elsewhere. But beyond that, I mean, it's like I go to the beach.
King's Dominion wave pool.
Fire.
Fire.
Ain't hardly
everywhere.
And there ain't hardly been no deaths in it this year either. I appreciate I appreciate a nice dangerous wave pool. It's like the things I like doing at the beach, throwing the football around, huck it, chuck it, pigskin football, hitting a wiffle ball, throwing a frisbee. I can do that all on a field, right? And I don't
I'll tell you what,
in sand. I don't have to like hose my body down like Gardner Minshew getting out of a prison bus. You know what I mean? Like it's just
is that problematic?
To me, it's unnecessary.
The sand. So I thought of a case where I think it illustrates the difference, why the beach is so special. Play volleyball anywhere else, Coop. Not nearly as fun. Not nearly as fun as when you're playing on the beach. When you're throwing the football around, you could dive for that bad boy. You're doing that on a field.
Yeah, and then I'm not playing anymore. I will dive in both situations, and in one I get to keep playing.
Yeah, one time I don't. The last time I went to a NASCAR race, we did play volleyball in a field, and we were diving, and my shoes were too tight, and both of my big toenails turned black and ended up falling off. So you're right. All right, I'll give you that.
Race,
beach,
yeah,
beach volleyball, dude. All right. I'm kind of in, dude. I'm kind of in, but not.
I hear you.
I grew up on a beach, so
producer Keith seems to be on my side here. He says to replicate the feel of a beach at home, Coop puts his toes in a bunch of breadcrumbs,
and then offers to make dinner, and doesn't say what the. Oh, are these panko breadcrumbs? What seasoning did you put on these breadcrumbs?
It's from the beach.
Mac and cheese topped with sand.
Big fish.
And Craig and saying, in one place you end up with sand in every possible crevice for days. Gross and uncomfortable. That is the one downfall, but the beach is fantastic. The beach is wonderful.
Yeah, I want to
hear what you guys like best about the beach. You guys seem to be very romantic about it.
Here's what I like about the beach. There are very few places where I feel just fully relaxed, or I feel like my mind is occupied by things besides what I have to focus on. And at the beach, just the sound of the ocean, something about being there. It can totally be mental, just like my picture of what the beach is. I can just lay there with a pina colada in my hand and think about nothing but the pina colada in my hand and the ocean in front of me.
Yeah,
and I can't do that in the field. Yeah, they can just wait. I'll text them 4 hours later when I leave, and I'll say, "Oh, sorry, I was at the beach," and they'll go, "Oh, cool, of course." Know what I mean?
Understand?
Everyone will be like, "Yeah, I got it."
Meanwhile,
did you play volleyball?
I'm home hanging out playing Xbox, and if anyone bothers me, I just say I'm at the beach, dude. Like it's like you're. Why don't you write a poem, dude? You're talking about feelings here. I'm talking about physical locations.
Feelings are important.
Feelings are part of physical locations. It's like that.
Bah humbug.
The boomer school of mental health.
I have 4 pairs of sunglasses on my desk here, and I'm like, I hate the beach.
I hate the beach. What a hill to die on.
Yeah. I don't hate it. It's just like, it's fine. I'll go if everybody's going. Lobster rolls.
If everyone else is jumping off the bridge, I'll do it.
Everybody's going. Yeah, let's go get some sunburns, dude.
Guys, Tyler Lockett is getting hand surgery, but he could return week 17.
What?
I don't know if you're trusting that. I just picked up Marquise Goodwin in a couple leagues. Got to keep an eye on that.
Robo finger, week 17. I don't know, man.
It's a pretty quick turnaround for hand surgery.
Yeah, I'm not playing a guy in week 17 who had hand surgery 2 weeks ago. If he blows up, he blows up. And I'd rather have that happen on my bench than start the guy and be like, you idiot. He just had hand surgery. Why did you start him in your fantasy football championships? Like, I would just feel so stupid plugging him in there for the championship. Then it's like, oh, yeah, that checks out with all of the information that we had in front of us.
DeMarco Murray had hand surgery in 2014, didn't miss a game, and he finished the season scoring touchdowns in 5 straight games. Six touchdowns in 5 games. But he's also not a wide receiver. They just put like a football-shaped cast on his hand and just like stuck the ball in there.
like Squidward jellyfishing. Firmly grasp it!
Right in there, dude.
Man, we were gonna do a SpongeBob moment draft.
Oh,
Maybe
dude.
we'll still do that.
I don't know what I would pick, dude.
I had like various friend groups in high school, right? Like I was kind of like a friend group floater, I would say, like where I wasn't like part of one friend group, but one of my friend groups obsessed with SpongeBob to the point where, like, no lie, just as for fun, they would like fully quote episodes back and forth, and they could do the first full 3 seasons nonstop, line for line. And I don't even know if they knew they could do it, but like I heard them do it. Know what I mean? I'd hear one person say a line, and the other person respond. I'm like, you guys just did an 11-minute episode. You did the whole thing, and you have no idea that you just fully quoted an episode here.
Giggling the whole time. I feel like
No, I'm giggling the whole time. I'm sitting there like, this is ridiculous that you guys are doing this.
That's
got
wild, dude. I would. Me and my roommate in college would just like throw cartoons on, like when we were going to sleep at night, and so the SpongeBob, King of the Hill, whatever, and you would just wake up in the middle of the night and have like a fever dream watching some crazy SpongeBob scene where they're doing just ridiculous stuff. Like SpongeBob doesn't make sense as it is sometimes. If you wake up in the middle of the night and look at that stuff, you could go insane.
If you wake up and there's a talking squirrel that lives in a scuba suit underwater in a giant air bubble.
That's what I'm saying. That was like my college, like half
is that,
wake up in the
is
night,
that
like,
Crab's daughter a whale?
Yeah,
Like,
what are you doing?
how the heck did that happen?
Having nightmares about that dark bikini or the dark city that's like down when
Rock
they go
bottom?
rock bottom. Yeah.
What?
Next, bus to bikini bottom.
We should do an entire episode giving analysis in the rock bottom vernacular.
We should. That's a good impersonation.
The
Smart
Ravens
stuff.
claimed wide receiver Sammy Watkins.
Watkins.
Tommy's probably a little bit confused right now.
Oh yeah, all the non-SpongeBob watchers. But what I said was true. Sorry if you didn't understand it, and if you don't speak rock bottom. Tom Pelissero tweeted out yesterday that the Ravens did claim Sammy Watkins off waivers. So we talked about that as a possibility. JL, Sammy's coming home.
Tommy's in on
Sammy's
SpongeBob.
coming home. I almost bought a Sammy Watkins jersey just for the fact that it was Sammy Watkins and the Ravens at the same time. I'm glad I didn't waste my money on that because he didn't do anything here. But he's back. Yeah. They placed Devin Duvernay on the IR this week.
You missed your window to get Sammy Watkins. There were probably a bunch of them like hanging out at like TJ Maxx or Marshalls for like the last couple of months. You could have got
point, yeah.
You could have snuck in. You could have bought the dip, right?
I love scrolling through the clearance jerseys on NFL Shop because it'll be people from like 4 teams ago or people that you would never want a jersey of. Like there will randomly be like Gary Barnage jerseys just like sitting in there in the NFL Shop clearance. You get some weird ones. Scott Fish
Here comes
said,
Scott Fish with a Gary Barnage.
he said, now that is finding a niche market in the fantasy space. Yeah, we're here for the fantasy SpongeBob crossover analysis. For our Rock Bottom audience out there, this one's for you. We know the Rock Bottom. We know you're underrepresented in fantasy analysis, so
we're here for you.
One is for you.
And we never do that again.
I promise nothing.
Speak for yourself.
Speak for yourself. Sammy Watkins heading to the Ravens. I think they need bodies for the playoff. They need bodies for the playoffs, even though they're not passing very much. Demarcus Robinson probably gets a boost here. Are you guys interested at all in Demarcus Robinson or Sammy Watkins on this Ravens team?
Not so, yeah. Probably not Sammy, but Demarcus Robinson, he was already playing a decent amount, getting some looks. I know I've bashed him a little bit on here, basically saying like if he's not going to be good with Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, is he going to be good with Tyler Huntley? Probably not. But there are certain deep leagues. Like if you're in Scott Fishbowl and you're losing guys left and right, then you might need somebody like that. But I don't know. Hard to trust. Maybe DFS play, at least.
Yeah, I think Demarcus Robinson's worth a look. I think he's in that like borderline flex play. So he's not someone I'm trying to put into my lineups. It helps if Lamar Jackson's playing in my mind. So if we get confirmation that Lamar Jackson's playing, then it bumps him up a little bit, maybe into that flex conversation. But he's not a priority to shove into my lineups.
They do have Atlanta this week. Good matchup. And then Pittsburgh next week.
Another good matchup.
He got 15 targets. They just played Pittsburgh in week 14. He got 15 targets for 120 yards and a touchdown.
It's absurd. Lamar Jackson needs to play. We need to get Lamar Jackson back in there.
The problem I have with the flex play is that like we think that we think that that's like saying he's pretty far down, but it's not that far, right? Like flex is what, rank 37 to 48 or so.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd even put him that high, to be honest, because there's a bunch of guys in there that like you forget about that you would definitely start over him. Like you're gonna start Demarcus Robinson or Jahan Dotson.
Probably Jahan Dotson.
Jahan Dotson I have ranked like 50.
Yeah, probably Jahan Dotson.
Right? Like, because you think about the top 20. Atlanta.
Who does Washington have?
Yeah, but he's gonna. What's up with AJ
San
Terrell?
San Francisco. I don't know. Jahan Dotson's that's a tough matchup.
They have one wide receiver, and the Falcons have one good corner. That's the real problem.
True.
Gonna play AJ Terrell, which is the one guy.
Clemson guy.
Shout out.
Is he a Clemson guy?
He is.
He's awesome. He's real good.
Yeah,
I like him.
He's a star.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, it was us. So
good job, boys.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, you beautiful dog. You're like, thanks.
I got him at the dog store. Clemson kind of
same thing.
Right now, though, the way Trevor Lawrence is playing and some of these guys, Clemson is kind of the dog store, though. You know what I mean?
They got that dog in them. Yeah, no, there's
dogs.
It's
Clemson bias has been working out for you.
It's been fun. It makes being an NFL fan a lot of fun when all these guys that I feel like I watched in college while we were there are killing it in the NFL. It makes it a lot more fun. Dustin
and Beasley killing it in the CFL, I think.
XFL. He's in the XFL now.
DJ Reader doing well.
That was my first football jersey, was a Vic Beasley Clemson jersey. Number 3. I thought that dude was going to be a freaking star. He was in college. It doesn't take away from what he did at Clemson. Dustin in here saying good morning all. What's up, Dustin?
Morning,
Welcome
Dustin.
in, my friend.
Morning, Dustin.
And Scott Fish and Coop, can I drop Kate Otten in Scott Fishbowl yet?
Yeah, and then he also said, P.S. I only ask Coop my tight end questions, getting out in front of your nonsense, where you were definitely going to call JL the tight end whisperer once again. So Scott, wise to your tricks at this point. I'm still holding on to him, man. I'm still holding on to Kate Otten because Cameron Brake came back, but Kate Otten basically played double the snaps, ran double the routes, and he's got a good matchup this week. If you're not going to start him this week, Scott, against Arizona, you probably never will. So I guess you can drop him. But I mean, if you need a guy, the matchup doesn't get better than Arizona. So Kate Otten, not a crazy play this week.
If you're like me, start him over Jerick McKinnon and lose would be the route there.
That was last.
You take the tight end that you're unsure about, and then you start him over a running back that's been killing it recently, and then you lose. The Scott Fishbowl experience.
The Scott Fishbowl experience.
No, JL.
Yeah, well, you started
the tight end whisperer. How do you feel about Kate Otten?
Yeah, Kate Otten. I think Kate Otten could be a great player. That's what I'd say as the tight end expert.
Coop, you are right though with the Arizona. That's a great point. Like even if he is a worthwhile player, if you're not starting him this week, you truly probably aren't starting him the rest of the season. There's only 2 weeks left.
He's had a rough schedule, man. The Seattle was good, but he had Cleveland, which is a top 5-6 team versus tight end. The Saints, who have gone back and forth with Washington as the top teams versus tight end. San Francisco is another top 5 team versus tight end. I mean, the only team in this stretch he didn't play that was top 5 is Dallas, right? Cincinnati, the problem is this last matchup, Cincinnati is the one where you should have did something. He played a good number of snaps, kind of went Dalton Schultz on us. Played a bunch, didn't do nothing, even in a good matchup. Happens sometimes. But for me, he's playing enough, and Tom Brady seems to like him. So what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Another interesting point that we should probably bring up here is Corey Davis is back practicing. So if you got Elijah Moore, you've been riding that Elijah Moore train the last couple of weeks. You got to be aware of this because Corey Davis coming back in might shift the usage that we see from Elijah Moore.
Yep. Good call, Corey. I mean, good call, JL. Corey. And Scott says Cole Kmet, Daniel Bellinger. Cole Kmet, Daniel Bellinger, Kate Otten. He wants to drop one from Minshew. Yeah, I would just start Kmet, and I also have Bellinger ranked ahead of Otten, so you can go ahead and do that. That's cool.
I'm not going to say anything is what I was going to say. No, I'm not. I was going to say it was about the Elijah Moore thing. I'm not starting Elijah Moore if Corey Davis is back, JL.
Nah.
Like if Corey Davis is back, it's not even just like adjust your rankings. It's Elijah Moore. I'm just not going to play him at this point. I want to see it because Corey Davis was killing it, was commanding the targets whenever he was on the field last.
And
Yeah,
you know,
could throw a risky wrench in the mix.
A risky wrench.
A kind of old risky wrench, huh? I like that. That's a fancy team name right there. The Risky Wrenches.
The risky wrenches.
Yeah, but it's like in the same vein as the Mike Gesicki conversation we had earlier. It's this San Francisco coaching tree that really values run blocking, like heavily values run blocking. Corey Davis has been one of, he's been a top 10 run blocker in this league per PFF in the last couple of years. I think last year he was within the top 10, or on the Titans, pretty much most years on the Titans, he was within the top 10 as a run blocker. So, we forget about that part of the game in fantasy football, that half the plays are run plays. And if Corey Davis is 6'4", 220 pounds, he's going to be a better run blocker than Elijah Moore.
What if he's not, though?
If he's not, dude, if he's not,
yeah. What if his size changed?
If
he's 4'3", 200 pounds.
Hate when that happens.
Pure muscle.
Then you got it. Well,
muscle, baby.
Now he's got leverage, so he might be even better run blocker.
It's like Doug Martin.
Shaped like a container of Spam.
Just rolling down the field.
Well, then you got to get him in your lineups.
Then you have to.
I don't want anyone to ever describe my shape as a can of Spam.
Can of Spam.
I mean, I think it'd be medically concerning if anyone was
so,
described as can of Spam, because there'd have to be edges and corners. Like you'd have to have a shape to you. It's not just like round. Guys, coming up, we are going to run through the playoff picture, talk through which teams are in, which teams are on the outside looking in right now. And then we're going to play some fantasy detective as well. And oh boy, do we have a draft coming up. We are drafting our own teams for a celebrity snowball fight. So we're going to be putting together teams for a celebrity snowball fight, trying to see who can put together the best collection of celebrities to come out on top in a snowball war. And of course, guys, as always, if you've got questions for us, make sure you throw them in the chat. We are more than happy to answer any and all questions for you. We're going to be talking some Dynasty trade values towards the end of today's show. So get those Dynasty trade questions ready, and we would love to answer them for you. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Live with Lisa Ann and Rick Kamla. Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Obviously, you've got a couple identities here, right? And so, Lisa Ann's here. Let's talk sports. Let's talk fantasy. What about my team? What do you think about my team? Like, that's dope, man. Like that brand you have built here is huge. And over in Switzerland, you're a big deal in Switzerland. Of course you are.
In Europe, all over Europe. But when I was at the Jersey show like 2 or 3 weekends ago, my security was shocked because every other guy legit handed me his phone and said, "Yo, Lise, can you check my lineup? Can you look on the waiver wire? I got bye weeks coming up." You're right. It's really neat how my worlds have become just this synergy between, me being me and then me reaching out to all of these different people and having this common ground that now it's like we're kind of bros when we talk about sports, right? We're just friends. We're all sharing the same heartbreak or pain. Sports is the international language.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Probably every team knows that inking starting pitchers to big deals and big money agreements is bad business. But that's the business they're in. What else are they going to do? That's what it costs to play the game. And all these pitchers realize it. I'd like to sit here and say, well, you should develop your own pitching. You should never pay these guys $25 million a year. But Ray, I don't think teams can do that. It's like the pitchers have a lot of power despite their weaknesses and despite their fragility. They still have so much control over the purse strings of these teams and these GMs and these owners. They don't care, Ray. They're seeing the same numbers we are. They know Jake DeGrom. If they sign him, you pray for 130 innings. Every team knows that, Ray. They may say something different, but they know what's going on. And Ray, it won't stop them. I mean, what do you think DeGrom gets in free agency this year?
I think he'll get 4 or 5 years, and he'll get 35 a year each, right? Paying $20 million for Drew Smiley is stupid. Paying $200 million for DeGrom is idiotic, in my opinion. Jacob DeGrom has had 14 injuries the last 2 years. Like, every part of his body, it's just, and he's phenomenal. But you can't be locked in. If DeGrom makes 25 starts, 26 starts, if he throws 150 innings, you could win your division. You could win the World Series. I get it. But if he does the other thing, which is what he's done the last couple of years, your team is so hamstrung, unless you're one of like 2 or 3 teams, you can't spend your way out of that.
However you're invested in sports, from betting to fantasy, collectibles, and more, join our community on Better Sports Network.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. It's in the game, and we are getting ready to break down the NFL playoff picture. Week 15 in the books. We're headed into Week 16, kicking off tomorrow with games on Saturday and Sunday again this week, I believe. And it's time to start getting serious about which teams are going to be in, which teams are going to be out. There's teams getting eliminated, teams securing their spot. I'm starting right at the top. The Bills and the Chiefs locked it up already. They're in on the AFC side. So they've got their spots secured. They're going to the playoffs. Right now, the Bills do have that bye, but they're sitting at 11-3. The Chiefs also at 11-3. The Chiefs could still sneak that bye away from the Bills down the stretch here.
Yeah, it's very possible. And the Chiefs have their division locked up. Technically, I saw there's a insane scenario where the Bills don't win the division. Incredibly specific number of things need to happen, but the odds are on like 538 show it's over 99% that they win the division. So for all intents and purposes, those two teams have won their division as well.
Absolutely. The other AFC teams, though, right now, man, some teams who have snuck their way up in there. The Bengals, the Titans, the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Dolphins are currently sitting up there in the playoff hunt. Dale, if you had to pick one of those teams that you thought would fall out of this playoff picture before the end of the season, who's it going to be? We've got sitting there on the bubble looking in the Patriots, the Jets, the Jaguars. So there's some teams knocking on the door. Do any of the teams that I just mentioned scream to you as like, ooh, maybe they'll miss out?
Which were the teams you mentioned?
The Bengals, the Titans, the Ravens, the Chargers, and the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the Ravens potentially falling out. Tennessee for sure. I guess who's next in that division? They're probably going to win their division,
Jaguars.
right?
Well, it's
Jaguars
close now. The Jaguars control their own destiny. If the Jaguars win out, they win the division.
Yeah, 538 it's giving them 44% to make the playoffs and 43% to win the division, which is realistic.
Exactly. Yeah, there's only two real division battles left in the AFC, realistically, right? It's the Bengals versus Ravens to win that division, and then the Titans versus Jaguars. The other ones are pretty much locked up. So, and there really are two-way races, right? There's no other team that could kind of sneak in and win those at this
point. No, 100%. Those are the teams I was going to call out. The Titans seem like the obvious one. They seem to be falling apart a little bit too. They haven't looked great recently, and the Jaguars are hot. I can easily see the Jaguars just stealing that division away from them over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, the last 3 weeks for the Titans they have Houston, then they have Dallas, then they have Jacksonville. So it might come down to that Week 18 game against Jacksonville. So we might get a pretty fun division end game there.
Yeah. You mentioned the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots need to be mentioned anymore. They're they really, honestly, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs, and they fans, even me, fans don't want them in the playoffs. You guys, if you're a neutral fan, you don't want.
I don't want to watch the Patriots.
You don't want to watch the Patriots. It's not fun football to watch. Nobody likes to watch bad offense and solid defense and really good special teams. That's the worst brand of football. So
I love watching Ramondre Stevenson though.
Ramondre, yeah, he's a monster. But
Mac
Jones doesn't like what. If you ask Mac Jones, he doesn't like watching it because he gets pissed.
He's mad.
He might be in the Zach Wilson school of being a little baby these days. So, I don't know. If the division winners are going to be Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, and let's say your narrative is right, Jaguars. I think the other teams should be Ravens, Chargers, Jaguars. Ravens, Chargers, Dolphins. The scary thing about the Titans Jaguars matchup is that one of those teams is at pretty big risk of not making the playoffs if they don't win the division, right? Because there's some other tough teams with the Ravens, Bengals, Chargers, Chiefs, and Dolphins, Bills. It's tough to get that last playoff spot.
Yeah.
And Ravens are what's their record? I just was looking at it.
They're 9-5. They're in.
9-5. They're in. Yeah. It's going to be too hard to catch up. They'd have to lose every single game, and New England or Jets would have to win every single game of the next 3 games.
Jets are the Chargers sitting here at 8-6, even though they haven't looked great. Like, that's a team that I feel like you look at them in this playoff hunt and you're like, maybe they could fall out. And then you look at their schedule over the last 3 weeks here. Indianapolis Colts, Los Angeles Rams, Denver Broncos. Like, that's shaping up to get 3 wins here at the end of the season. The Colts matchup is the toughest of the 3. But I expect them to go 3-0 down the stretch here. The Chargers seem like a lock to make the playoffs at this point.
Right. So it's like if the Ravens and the Chargers are a lock, then it's basically the Dolphins against the Titans / Jaguars for that last spot. Right?
Jets are technically in the hunt up there as well, I think.
Count the Jets and the Patriots out. All the Jets and Patriots can really do is ruin things for the Dolphins, I feel. Right. Like they all play each other 10 this season, which is going to be spicy.
You're right.
Yeah, the Dolphins play our next 3 matchups: Green Bay, New England, and then the Jets. So you're right, it is gonna get pretty spicy.
2 division games to end the season to determine if you make the playoffs is a spicy pepperoni.
That is a spicy pepperoni. Oh man. But I do think they have the best odds here.
Yeah. I was talking to Tim about it. If I'm a fan of another team in the playoffs, I don't want to play the Dolphins. Know what I mean? Like that is not a team that I'm like looking at that first round matchup and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, we can make it past the Dolphins. Like that's a team I'm a little bit scared of playing with how unreal that offense can look, right? When Tua's slinging it to Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, I don't want to be on the other side of that. Give me one of these other teams. Give me the Ravens. I'd rather play the Ravens as like a fan of a hypothetical other team in that first round.
I would too.
I'd rather play the Chargers. I'd rather play the Jaguars.
Yeah.
So I hope the Dolphins sneak in there because I think they can make some noise. I think they can be fun in the playoffs this year.
I'm with you, Simon. I think they're talented. They're a talented team. They're one of the more talented teams of this list of wild card teams.
Sorry, Coop. I thought you had something there.
I do have something to say, yeah, but I didn't know if you guys were done or not. But yeah, I was just gonna say it would be the one problem for the Dolphins would be them having to go up and play the Bills at the Ralph again in cold weather. The Dolphins are one of those teams that would have really helped themselves out if they could have got some sort of home field advantage because, that's how it works with these teams that play all year in the warm weather and they have to go play in, a frozen tundra. Patriots have lived off that for years.
They almost got it, though. They almost pulled off the W. Maybe now they can get the W in the cold if they have to go back up there.
I will say I didn't see any sort of real big discrepancy between the Bills and the Dolphins in that game. Like they both were equally struggling from the cold, but I don't think that whole narrative that was being pushed, that whole the Dolphins not going up to the cold, not being able to handle it. I don't think we really saw that have a big effect on the game, apart from the snowballs.
They're football players at the end of the day. They figure it out.
Yeah. And a lot of the Bills players were talking about how cold it was and how it was affecting them. Like just because the Bills are out there doesn't mean that all the players are immune to cold.
Who seems to be immune to cold? David Njoku. Have you seen the pictures of him before these games the last few weeks? Dude,
no.
He's been wearing progressively less and less clothing before these games. And it's like, as it gets colder, he goes out in less clothing. Well, the last game, he was out there basically just in a pair of boxers. And it was like 20 degrees. Let me see if I can find the pictures of this guy. It's ridiculous.
Craig in here. We missed Craig's question.
That's what I'm laughing at. Yeah, we missed Craig's question, and Craig says, I guess you got to be Scott Fish to get a question answered around here. No, you can be anyone. In fact, we're less likely to answer Scott's questions, but
True.
Scott being
Especially
a bro,
truthfully.
Scott being a bro, copy and paste Craig's question just to make sure we see it over here. Craig wanted to know Superflex semifinals, pick 2 in big play bonus league. Herbert, Burrow, Fields. Herbert, Burrow, and Fields. JL in a big play bonus league. Where are you going?
Herbert, Burrow, Fields.
Herbert, Burrow, Fields.
Herbert, Burrow, Fields.
Is it 6-point passing or 4?
Herbert, Burrow, Fields.
Fields. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I think I'm gonna go. Let's see. We got Herbert playing against the Indianapolis Colts. Total in that game is 46.5. Vegas is expecting the Chargers to win that game. Justin Fields going against the Buffalo Bills. Total in that game is 40, and Joe Burrow going against New England. The total on that is 41.5. I think I'm gonna go Herbert here against that Indianapolis Colts matchups.
Herbert's the lock for me as well, JL, but we need a second one.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm going back and forth between these two guys. And I think the tiebreaker might be but Justin Fields, his big plays aren't through the air. It doesn't matter if it's windy. It doesn't matter if there's 16-mile-per-hour gusts.
Oh man, this is tough.
Or for passing, but big yard bonus.
I'm going big. I'm going Herbert Fields. I think that's the way I'm going.
I think I'm with you. Talk myself into it.
You said it's 4-point passing too. So you created yourself a conundrum by having too many good players.
I don't know exactly what the big play part of it is. Like
probably
how
like plays of 40+ yards get additional points. Like
is that passing yards?
I think big play leagues generally have it for just big plays. Like there's a rushing yard big play bonus, a passing yard big play bonus.
I'm just wondering because Joe Burrow, I think, can have big play through the air. Justin Fields in the rushing obviously has that big play ability. Yeah, I think I'm with you guys. I think I got to go Fields and Herbert. That is a close one though, Greg.
That's really close, Greg. I'd be debating that one back and forth, making switches all week long. But I think Herbert Fields is where I would end up. I just have a hard time benching Fields, man. I have a hard time putting him on the bench, especially in a big play bonus league. The dude does nothing but get big plays.
Yeah, going against Buffalo, though, that is tough.
It's tough. Guys, on the NFC side for the playoffs, we got a couple more teams who have clinched their division or clinched the playoffs. The Vikings and the 49ers have both clinched their divisions. They're winning the NFC North and NFC West, respectively. But the Eagles and the Cowboys have both clinched a playoff spot. They're still fighting for that division. They're still both in the hunt for the NFC East title. Eagles most likely have it sitting there at 13-1. Cowboys at 10-4 could still sneak in there and grab it.
Yeah, Cowboys have Philadelphia, so they'll play each other this week, and then Tennessee, and then Washington.
Yeah,
so definitely, there's some winnable matchups there.
I'd say 2 of the 3. And if Jalen Hurts doesn't play,
all 3. Yeah, I think all 3 are winnable for sure. You're right. The Jalen Hurts definitely affects it in a big way, I think.
Yeah, they could win out. But winning out won't quite be enough to win the division, right? They need some help from the Eagles as well. The first game, beating the Eagles would be a step in that direction. But who do the Eagles have the last 2 weeks of the season as well? They've got New Orleans and the New York Giants. So I'm not expecting the Eagles to drop too many games.
They need the Eagles. The only way Dallas can get it is if the Cowboys win all 3 and the Eagles lose all 3. If the Eagles win one of those games, they win the division.
Okay, so it's unlikely.
It's 1% odds.
But they're in the playoffs.
They're in.
They're making it.
They're in that weird spot where, then that's why we talked about it yesterday. The Cowboys are in that weird spot where they're incredibly likely to end up sitting guys at the end of the season. Like if they win, they already have their playoff spot locked up. And if the Eagles win one game, they're not really playing for much anymore. Right. So kind of dangerous. If you play a week 18 playoffs, you probably shouldn't. You should get that changed. But if you do play through week 18, be very wary that the Cowboys are in a prime spot to rest guys week 18.
Yeah. Tim in here was saying also it's a spicy take, but the Bills got diced up on the ground, so the Bears have a shot. Then the Bills have the Bengals and Patriots. Not exactly simple for them to secure that division. Saying maybe the Dolphins have got a shot to secure that division over there. Well, we'll see. You're not wrong, Tim, but that is also not wrong that it's a spicy take.
Yeah, I mean, 538 has Bills winning the division at greater than 99%.
Yeah.
But you're telling me there's a chance.
But there's a chance.
What kind of odds does that leave for the Dolphins?
Dustin said, "Ha!"
Yeah, Dustin's not
Dolphins have a 0.5% chance to win the division according to 538.
Yeah. But so basically, that's what you need to happen, right? You need same situation. Dolphins win all their games, Bills lose all their games. It's as same thing, which
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
not good. Not great, Bob.
Dustin said Bills just need to win or tie this week, or a Dolphins loss or tie and the Bills win the division. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The Bills and Eagles both in good position to clinch their divisions this weekend. Now, the teams in the hunt on the NFC side, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New York Giants, and the Washington Commanders all currently sitting in the playoffs right now. But the Buccaneers only have a 1-game lead over the Panthers and the Saints. So they're sitting in a precarious position. But I still like their odds to make it. They've got Arizona this week, and then Carolina, and then Atlanta to close out the season. Hopefully, they should be able to take care of Carolina and Atlanta and just secure that division over these past couple weeks.
When I look at these teams in the mix and the hunt here, they haven't locked it up. It's like playing a little game of is this a bad good team, or is this a good bad team? And do I like the good bad teams?
I know how it is. It's a good way of breaking it up.
Like I like the Lions. The Lions are the best. They're the best bad team in football right now. Like,
Best bad team.
yeah, they're the hottest team in football. So they're coming up. The Giants, I don't even know what I would.
They're a bad
They're
team.
a bad team.
With a good record. They're 8-5-1.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna make the playoffs. They like
Seattle's a good bad team.
Seattle's a good bad team.
Washington, good bad
Bucs,
team.
The Bucks are a bad good team.
They are a
Bucks.
bad good team.
You know what I mean? Like
That's 100%.
right. And the thing is, the Vikings at times are a bad good team. Right. I think at the end of the day, they're good. They fall in the good team category for sure. They're 11-3, but I mean,
But they're definitely love flirting with that bad good team.
right. They got crushed by the Cowboys. This week, for all intents and purposes, they got crushed by the Colts, and then played a totally separate second game that they won. Like I don't even, the NFC is a strange.
It
one.
did feel like 2 games.
Right? Like they lost the first game, but they won the second game.
They blew them out in the second game.
That should have been worth 2.
Yeah, should have been 2. Yeah, this division is totally wild. And then there's some teams that are like, you look at the percentages on 538, and they don't even feel like they make sense. Like the Commanders have a 35% chance of making the playoffs. Since when? The Commanders
They're
are
currently in. They'd be in if the
currently in
season
it.
ended.
That's what I'm saying, dude. What the heck
Why?
is going on? What's going on here?
So
Bad
Commanders
team?
have San Francisco, then Cleveland, then Dallas. I think that 538 is definitely taking the strength of schedule into consideration here.
That's not good. They really got to. The division games are so important. Like that Dallas game, you change the odds on that one. They go from, if they win that game, the odds of making the playoffs is like 60%. If they lose it, it's like 10. They really got to beat Dallas at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And Dallas
Man.
might not even. The thing is, Dallas might not even be. They might not even care about that game, which is crazy. You know what I mean? It could be a situation where Dallas is like, "We'll just take the bye week. We don't care if Washington ekes their way in." You know, big decisions to make at that time, but it's kind of crazy that it could boil down to that, and they would just be like, "Hey, we're just going to care about us. I'm going to do me."
The NFC playoff picture is disgusting.
Yeah, it really is.
Just so gross. Like I'm just looking at it. Please, Giants, fall out of the playoffs. I do not want to watch you in the playoffs. I know that's rude, but can't we just get a more fun team in there? Get the Lions in there instead of the Giants. That's what I want. I want to watch the Lions play in the playoffs. The Giants have Minnesota, Indianapolis, and Philadelphia to end the season, though. So that's a tough stretch to end the year. I know they're 8-5-1, but they very well might end 8-8-1 with those 3 games remaining on their schedule.
And we got a question in the chat from Caesar. Caesar asking Goff or Trevor Lawrence this week. Jared Goff or Trevor Lawrence? Which of these guys are you starting?
Trevor, dude. Trevor's amazing. Super mega Peyton Manning, first overall, best prospect since Andrew Luck, dude. 3 touchdowns in 3 of the last 4 games. 3+ touchdowns.
Yeah, it's
Lock
a tough
him in.
matchup against the Jets, but I'm still rolling Trevor Lawrence out there. I don't
Roll him
care.
out.
It's not Jared Goff playing Carolina Panthers is a decent matchup, but Trevor Lawrence, there's a gap for me based on what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, he's just passing so much. It's hard to bench him at this point. I mean, he's like averaging in like the 40s pass attempts each game. So that is just exactly what you want out of your quarterback for fantasy.
And Tommy in here saying the Jets, good, bad, or bad, good?
I think they're a bad good team.
Jets are bad. I think I don't know, because we always, in our mind, we think of them being a bad team. I kind of think they're a good bad team. Because their
You think they're
defense is
actually
good.
bad?
No, I think
they're good.
I think they're good. I think they're good, but we think that they're bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're good. They fall in the bad team category, but I think they're a good team. Like, they have a good defense and stuff. So
They're putting it together.
this is such a stupid thing to do. Let me just I was the one to bring it up, and I'm like, good bad team or bad good team? But I guess
Good team. Good
it
team.
does make sense though, if you think about it.
Medium. This is a medium team. The Patriots are a medium team.
Patriots
They're
are about as
it's just
medium.
We need to build out the scoring system.
Yeah.
Good, bad, good.
Patriots
bad,
are
That good.
I think the Patriots would be a bad good team, because you think of like Belichick and you think of the Patriots and you still have that feeling of like, this is a good organization, but they are a bad team. So
They're a bad team.
They fall into the bad good team category.
Scott Fish, and he said, I don't think the Vikings get the 2 seed. 49ers have the conference record tiebreaker and are only 1 game behind. Yeah, we'll see.
I win a bunch of money if our Vikings win the Super Bowl, or if they win the NFC, Mr. Scott Fish. I'm a big Vikings fan. You, me, and Ian, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Skull, baby.
Is there one team that you guys down the stretch here that you're just cheering for to make it into the playoffs?
The Lions.
It's the Lions. It's the Lions.
Freaking Lions. Yeah. I want the
The
Lions.
answer is the Lions for everybody.
If you're rooting for fun, you want the Lions.
Playoff run too.
I'm also rooting for the Bucks. Here's what I want. I want the Bucks to make the playoffs and win one game. Tom Brady just goes out and has a Tom Brady game and they win, and then they just lose. But just to remind everybody that, like, make all the jokes you want, but you don't want to be facing Tom Brady in a loser goes home game, right? If it's a loser goes home, I do not want to look across the field and see Tom Brady. I want to look across the field and see Jared Goff.
I had a
Your name
debate.
is Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy.
That's a different
he doesn't
story.
care.
BCB.
I had a debate with an Uber driver in Cleveland over the weekend. He was talking about quarterbacks, and he said, Derek Carr, he goes, you tell me I need a quarterback to lead a touchdown drive at the end of the game to win? I want Derek Carr. And I said, I don't know. Give me Tom Brady. I know he hasn't had the best season, but you're telling me I get to pick one NFL quarterback who has to lead a 2-minute drive to win the game. Just give me Tom Brady. I've seen him do it so many times. Give me Tom Brady, and especially over Derek Carr. And this guy was acting like I was the idiot. He was so adamant that I was like, did Tom Brady even win a Super Bowl? Has he done anything in the league? Because this dude was Derek Carr, the greatest 2-minute quarterback.
Where's Derek Carr love coming from?
He is a good 2-minute quarterback, if I remember correctly. And I see Tommy down here saying, look up Derek Carr's stats. Not Brady, but amazing. But not Tom Brady. That's the argument. Absurd. Shout out to that Uber driver in Cleveland.
Shout out that Uber driver.
Uber drivers, man. They bring the heat. They bring the heat. I had one in Canton that he was deep in it. He was deep in the game. And I was like, I've been talking football all week, dude. You want to just drop me off? I'm here to, Actually, I didn't do that. I always talk football with everybody because I love football.
We have a question in here in the chat, guys. Zach came in here and said, "Yo, playoff time. Numbers or Bills this week?" T-Law, numbers or Bills? I'm so sorry, but I do not know the NFL team numbers, so I'm going to need some clarification on that. I'm guessing it's an autocorrect. And then Trevor Lawrence in bad weather or Danny Dimes? I'm rolling T-Law out there against the Jets in that matchup. What about you guys? You rolling Daniel Jones out there?
Or Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
Oh. How bad is the Trevor Lawrence weather?
Why do we want to start Daniel Jones, dude? That guy stinks. Daniel Jones is like starting Taysom Hill. He either gets a rushing touchdown or he doesn't. This guy hasn't had a 2-touchdown game in 6 weeks. Passing wise, he sneaks in the end zone, tricks you into thinking he's a good quarterback by stealing.
I see why you're going Daniel Jones.
Because the weather?
The Minnesota matchup.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But they don't even have anyone to throw to. Who's gonna what guy on the Giants?
Richie James.
150-yard game. Richie James.
Superstar.
Isaiah Smith.
Isaiah
the
Hodgins.
third.
Hodge boy. Ooh, Daniel Bellinger game.
Slayton.
I would love Daniel Bellinger this week if he didn't have broken ribs. That's what's hurting us.
No, that's what's hurting him. My ribs are fine though.
Hurting me in my weird fantasy teams where I rely on guys like Daniel Bellinger.
No, I think we're going Teal on that one. And then we had another question in here from Eric. Eric said, PPR, Minshew or Mac Jones? Minshew. Give me Minshew.
Yeah, Mac Jones.
Look at his game log. He hasn't done diddly.
There's a very real chance Mac Jones could get benched.
The Zapster?
I mean, at this point, if they're losing the game,
Zapata.
If they lose one more game, they're already pretty much on the outs for playoffs. But if they lose one more game, their playoffs are completely done, virtually done. So, if it's happening, they might as well just see what they got in Zappy. Why not?
15-mile-an-hour winds expected in that game, the New England-Cincinnati game. So that just adds on top of it. Yeah, definitely Minshew.
Absolutely.
The wind shouldn't affect Mac Jones's 30 screen passes he's going to throw.
Hey, but they've shown if the weather's bad enough, they'll just say, okay, no passes. None.
It might affect the lateral to Mac Jones, though.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe it'll make it to him. The wind gust picks it up. That's what Jacoby Myers thought. There was a 40-mile-per-hour wind gust so that he could just toss the ball in the air and then like on Jackass when they throw things into the jet engine to throw it at people.
Really could have used that wind.
Scott Bishop is saying, I was just looking at the bets my son and I made in Iowa, and we got Jefferson to lead in receiving yards at plus 800. Go JJ.
Pretty good bet.
Nice job.
Feeling pretty good about that.
You don't need to, but curious.
Keep running with it. Guys, coming up, we are going to play some Fantasy Detective, and then we've got our Celebrity Snowball Fight Draft. So make sure you're thinking, who do you want on your Celebrity Snowball Fight team? We'll be talking some Dynasty trade values a little bit later as well. If you've got any questions for us, throw them in the chat. We love answering fantasy questions. We'll get to each and every one of them throughout the show today. Right now, you're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
My holiday wish list is for Travis Etienne to finish as the RB1 rest of season.
That injury's got to be nothing, and Josh Jacobs needs to be a top 3 running back down the stretch.
I need the Broncos to finish with a better record than the Raiders. Otherwise, I need to eat a tomato live on camera like it's an apple.
I want to win my home league. I've only won it once over the last, whatever it is, 6 or 7 years, and these are all of my buddies from high school and college, and they love to harass me when they beat me. Ooh, fantasy expert, you can't win our league.
For this holiday season, I'd like to be in the winning margin. I'd like to be on the winning side of side totals and props. I think that's really why we're in the business.
So Jamar Chase is coming back from the hip issue. Let's hope he performs like that wide receiver 1 and leads me to the championship. I need you, Jamar. Come on, let's go.
I am the sucker that still owns Russell Wilson in a 2 QB league. Here's all I ask. And it's like a lot of Christmas wishes. It's kind of a long shot. You don't expect it. It wouldn't be something you wake up and say it's going to happen. But Russell Wilson, I only need like 80% of your career norm.
I need the Falcons to run the table so I can win my Arthur Smith as Coach of the Year bet, which is not looking amazing right now, but you never know.
Dallas Cowboy World Championship future cashes in 2023.
ETN is a guy that I really need to thrive here in the fantasy playoffs to win a couple of championships.
Need Zonovan Knight, even if Michael Carter's there, to be the beast running back that he can be for the remainder of the year for me to have any shot at winning a title this year.
I need Najee Harris to get healthy. I'm over-invested in Najee Harris.
As excited I am about my fantasy team, I'm even more excited about the Dallas Cowboys right now.
I need Rachaad White to keep doing what he's doing and keep Leonard Fournette on the bench.
I hope it's Mahomes and Kelsey getting all the targets there. That's my wish.
Please allow me to win at least one of those big money leagues.
Well, my holiday wish is for Lamar Jackson to get healthy. I'm in first place in one of my fantasy leagues, and he's my quarterback. So without him, I could be in trouble.
I have a lot invested in the Philadelphia Eagles. I just need them not to rest my fantasy players week 17.
Yeah, my number one wish for fantasy football this year is that Ramondre Stevenson keeps being a dog out there.
Big money league I have that I absolutely want to win. So I need my guy CeeDee Lamb, and I'm a Niner fan.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back in to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. Give me a dirty oi, Coop.
Oi.
Oi. I went right for the A.
A. It started on an A.
A little Fonzie, a little bit of a Fonzie A there.
Get
Hey.
Italian in there.
Oi.
Oi. Sounds like you stepped on something. Oi. Did you guys hear Nando during that video that he placed the bet on Arthur Smith, Coach of the Year? I started laughing.
There it is, dude.
Oh, that's
Lock
gone so
lock
wrong.
that in. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I picked the Browns to win the AFC. So
They reminds me of the guy who sat us down at the bar and not before this season, but before last season, drove thousands of miles to Arizona to place a $4,000 bet on Justin Fields MVP for last year. You remember that guy, JL?
Oh,
It was in Vegas, and he was showing us the bet slips. It was real, and I was like, I don't know, man. On that Bears team, like, I'm not liking those odds.
I forgot about that until you just mentioned it.
If you're watching, yes, I'm mocking you, and I think you're okay with it. Based
I don't
on
even
how
remember
that
who it
went
was.
last year. Me neither, but I remember the guy. I don't think I knew his name.
When you count the gas, when you count the gas money, he lost like $4,200.
Threw a couple extra $100 in there for gas. We had a question coming here from Eric. Eric wanted to know PPR flex running back James Conner or Jerick McKinnon. John Luke, where are you running here? James Conner or the hot Jerick McKinnon?
Oh man, this one is tough. I think you got to go James Conner as the lead back on that team, but it is very close in full PPR. Oh, I think I might go Jerick McKinnon.
Nope, JL, you had it right the first time. No, don't do it.
They got Seattle.
Fight the hype. Fight the hype, JL. Resist the
Jerick
urge.
McKinnon.
Resist the urge. James Conner's the top 10 back this week. He's one of the few guys playing all the snaps. You got to get him in your lineup. You can't go away from him. Even against the Bucs, doesn't matter to me. So.
Can you start both?
If you can manage to start both, that would be most good.
Yeah, it's got to be Conner, but I would like to start McKinnon. And then Eric in here said flex wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones, Demarcus Robinson, Slayton, or Mecole Hardman if he plays. I'm going DPJ out of that bunch, unless you can start McKinnon over all of those wide receivers. Like if it doesn't have to be a wide receiver, if that's a flex spot, I'm starting both of those running backs, and those wide receivers can stay on my bench.
I don't think I could start DPJ in that game where the total is set at 31.5.
You're right. 63 wind gusts of up to 63 miles per hour. That might be impossible to start.
They're not going to pass. They can't
You're
pass it. And especially the type of receiver DPJ is, like, they're not going to be able to even get him the ball.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The high A.dot guys get crushed by that wind, bro. You got to be factoring the curvature of the earth on some of those balls.
Like in Call of Duty where like there's a mission where you got to snipe from super far away and shoot like way up.
Yeah.
For the Coriolis effect.
Yeah, that's gonna be a rough one.
JL, I don't think you can say that on air.
Retract that, please.
Coriolis.
Yeah, they're over 25 miles an hour is what they're saying. Anything over 20 is bad. Anything over 25 is bad.
Depends which way you look at it.
That's the big bad. Well,
right or wrong are the two ways you can look at it. So if you're looking at it correctly, then you're right, Coop.
Then you're right. Yeah.
But if you're looking at it wrong, then maybe it doesn't seem that way.
I think I would go to Demarcus Robinson out of that group. Just to wrap up that question there. I can't start DPJ, but I think Demarcus Robinson, he's the main guy on this Baltimore offense, and they're going against Atlanta, which is a good matchup. Maybe he gets focused by AJ Terrell, like Coop was saying earlier. I just hope that he doesn't.
Yeah. What was the other options on that one?
Darius Slayton, DPJ, or Mecole Hardman.
Mecole Hardman coming off the injury.
What's wrong with Darius Slayton? You guys have talked earlier about how that game's going to be this big, crazy shootout.
I forgot about Slayton.
About this big, crazy
dome game in Minnesota.
Shootout, dome game, Minnesota. Loves
Yeah, I kind of forgot about Slayton was in that mix, but I would go him.
if that game's going to be what we think it's going to be.
But if you can start McKinnon over all of those guys,
then I would do that.
What'd you say, Coop?
If I could start McKinnon, I would start McKinnon. If I can't start McKinnon, I'm starting Darius Slayton.
Yeah, I'm with you.
100% with you. We got Jeff in here, Geek Mill, with a question for us. What's up, Jeff?
What up,
Thanks
Jeff?
for joining us this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Question: I'm in the playoffs for my Superflex home league, but Jalen Hurts may not play, and he's carried my team all season. Pick 2 to start: Minshew, Heineke, Watson, or Matt Ryan. From that bunch, Coop, which quarterbacks are you throwing in there?
Well, so Watson plays in that
game we were just talking about.
The game we were just talking about. So I'm not doing it. I think I'm starting Minshew, man. He's got all the weapons. It's not like we're throwing in a rookie that's never played before. And we've actually seen a rookie that's never played before that got picked in the last round play with a good team, and he looks good in Brock Purdy. So Minshew's he started for this team. He's a professional who's been in this league. I trust him to ball out. No different than what Heineke's doing right now as the backup quarterback coming into play. I think I'm starting Minshew and Heineke there.
I'm going to go Minshew and Ryan. I don't want to start Heineke against San Francisco. I'm going to start Matt Ryan against the Chargers over Taylor Heineke, but it's close between those two guys.
I'm with you. Matt Ryan is, he's not going to do anything amazing. He just played Minnesota. He got you like 11 points. So that's really what you got to expect here against the Chargers. It's just going to be a better matchup than Minnesota was.
But yeah,
I'm with you, Simon.
You're not playing the 49ers, but just imagine our boy Jeff sitting there sweating this one out when Monday night comes around and it's all riding on Matt Ryan. Monday night versus the Chargers. That's a
good sweat.
That's gonna be a special feeling, dude. But Geek, that's where we're going. We're going Minshew, Matt Ryan. Unless keep an eye on
Matty Ice sweat.
Keep an eye on the weather and tune in with us with the Fantasy Alarm show and the FYF show on Sunday morning or Saturday this week. Saturday morning this week, where we'll we're gonna give you the latest on the weather. It might not be as bad as they think. The line opened at 30 points. It's at 31.5 right now. Or it opened at 36, dropped, when the weather reports came out. But, sometimes the weather changes. If the weather changes, I would start Deshaun Watson. But we'll keep an eye on that for you. We'll help you out with that. Tune in with us Saturday morning.
And we'll throw football outside, see if there's any weather going on. Dustin had a question for us: Chig, Taysom, or Freiermuth? So John Luke, which of those tight ends would you be plugging in? Chigakonkwo, Taysom Hill, or Pat Freiermuth?
Simon, are you going to be in Cleveland? Are you in Cleveland still?
No, I'm in Atlanta.
You're in
So
Atlanta.
I can throw a ball. I can throw a ball in Atlanta if you want me to.
Yeah,
but I can't.
That'll really help us for the Falcons game, which is in Baltimore.
Yeah, so just let me know. Let me know if you need. Let me know if you need me to do that.
Don't they play in a dome too?
Yeah, they also play inside. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just go out and see what the vibe is like. You know what I mean? Do some interviews on the street. See what people.
I'm gonna come to you and be like, yeah, the football did not go where I aimed. It must be the weather in Baltimore. And Tim said the weather outside is weather. It is indeed
weather outside is weather.
So John Luke, which of those tight ends are you plugging in?
I'm gonna go Freiermuth. I'm gonna go Freiermuth here against the Las Vegas Raiders. The matchup is decent. Vegas is expecting all three of these matchups to be low scoring. They're all in the 30s. Yeah, Freiermuth is out here.
Yeah, it's my thoughts on Taysom and Jeff Driscoll are always the same. That's a decision that only you can make for yourself, because you can't ask us to compare Taysom Hill to an actual tight end. So for you, if you want to make that play, do it. I look at the other two guys. I'm with JL on this. Both guys are only playing 50% of the snaps, but now Chig has to play with Malik Willis. I'll just go Freiermuth in that case. If Tannehill plays, then I'll go Chig.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. We got Nick in here, said same boat here, Jeff. A lot of people are going to be in that boat with Jalen Hurts. And then Jeff saying, y'all are the best. I'll be here Saturday. Appreciate you coming in, my friend. Jam Juice in here wanting to know, please help me out. Oh, we got you. It's okay. We
got you, man.
Take a breath. Brady, Cousins, or Goff this week? John Luke, which quarterback you starting? Brady, Cousins, or Goff?
Let's see what these matchups look like. Kirk Cousins going against
Cousins versus the Giants, isn't it? That game, we keep talking about
Tom
it. It's
Brady.
Cousins versus the Giants.
Tom Brady is Arizona, which is a decent matchup, but I'm still going Cousins against the Giants.
Yeah. What about you, Coop?
Howdy, dude. I mean, What you will, at the end of the day, the stats are there, right? Even if it looks ugly at the beginning.
Oh, I will say what I will.
He had the best terrible game of all time last week.
You can take it. Yeah, that's all you need. It doesn't matter if it's a terrible game, if it's good for fantasy right there.
Get him in.
And Nick said, I'm rolling with Minshew and Purdy in my Superflex league. Man, in the playoffs, Minshew and Purdy, that is the biggest balls starting QB duo that you could put out there. That's a lot of balls in your starting lineup.
That's threat level midnight right there, dude. You're gonna,
oh my God.
You're gonna have a lot of fun with that.
Michael scoring.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be something, man.
When you win that though, with Purdy and Minshew, that's gonna be glorious.
Yeah, oh my
absolutely
God.
glorious.
Trash
Your voice
talk,
is gonna
bro.
drop an octave after you win that matchup.
Balls dragging on the ground.
You're gonna wake
Minshew
up and be
and
like,
Purdy, bro.
yeah, I got that W with Minshew and Purdy.
But I'm pretty confident in it. As ridiculous as that sounds, I'm like, actually, it's not a bad duo to be running into the fantasy playoffs with.
Earlier in the show, we went through and kind of riled off guys that we would start Minshew over, and you really can't based on how terrible so many quarterbacks are. Minshew, it's hard to even move him outside of your top 20, right? Like,
yeah,
in most super flex leagues, he's gonna start.
Absolutely. Guys, if we've helped you out this morning, if you're enjoying what we do here, if you've got other fantasy questions, you should head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are live every single day here and on the BSN app. And then also we're putting out shorts. We're putting out other live streams, the fantasy football game show, stuff you want to make sure you're not missing out on. So come hang out with us over there. We're here in the morning.
We're here all the time.
And we're here in the evening, and we're here in the afternoon.
The thing is, they only let us be on. They only let our show be on for 3 hours, but we just stay here and do this all day. They only broadcast the first 3 hours.
Coop came on another show with Joey recently and myself, Office Hours, and we streamed a whole 7 minutes, just a really nice 7 minutes. There were jokes and laughs, and like we had one-liners. We were interacting with people in the chat, and then I look up. We never went live. It was just me, Joey, and Coop streaming to no one. Just performing.
We actually did do that. We actually did do that the other day. Next week,
a solid 7 minutes.
And next week, if you're around, I'm gonna be doing serious double and even triple duty at times. I'm gonna be helping John and Pemba, and I will be taking over the Fantasy Alarm show from 5 to 7 here on Better Sports, the Fantasy Alarm playbook. That's where all my articles are. If you need them, just put up the tight end article yesterday, and it's, as always, it's perfect and no rankings are going to be wrong. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing this show next Wednesday. I'm going to be doing this show 7 to 10 a.m. that show 5 to 7, and then I have the lightning round presented by Fantasy Alarm from 9:30 to 10:30 Eastern time. So I'll just
if you're obsessed with Coop, next Wednesday is going to be the best day of your life. It's going to be the top #1 day. Guys, I think it's time to get into some fantasy detective here.
I'm running it this time.
You're okay, then take it away. Let us know how this is going to work, JL.
Boys, let's go. All right, if you haven't played fantasy detective with us before, this is how it's going to go.
I'm not sure I have played fantasy detective with us before.
I don't know that you have either. I think you've hosted every time.
You've always
been the guy presenting the murder mystery. You've been the butler that calls in the detectives every time so far.
I have to. You just jogged a memory. If you have not watched the Jason Bateman, Maya Rudolph, Murderville Christmas special on Netflix, go watch it tonight. It is so funny. It's so good. That's the murder mystery. You got to watch it. But sorry, Joe, fantasy detective. No Maya Rudolph here.
All right. So I'm going to give these contestants clues, and they have to guess who the clues are describing. We're going to go one by one here. As I reveal the clues, the contestants will each have an opportunity to take a guess. If the first person gets it right, they're going to get the point. The less clues that they use, the more points they'll get. So if they guess earlier on in the process before I reveal clues, they're going to get more points here. You'll get it once we start playing. I didn't describe that very well, but
did a good job, Simon. Minimize since you haven't played this. Minimize your chats.
Oh, it's so minimized.
The chats, the people in the chat is undefeated. They're too good.
That is so good.
So we have to hide the chat. Yeah.
There's a great reminder. Play along in the chat with us if you get it right before these contestants here, we're going to shout you out. We're going to shout you out. If you are very wrong, we'll probably make fun of you.
And if you get it right after, that's much less impressive because you already heard the answer.
Right. But you can still do it.
Yeah.
Still do it.
If you get it right after, we do have consolation prize. If you come to the Fantasy Football Expo, I will finger trap you. Minimum 15 minutes.
It's problematic phrasing.
Minimum.
Very problematic.
Yeah, make sure
you'll be finger trapped.
Make sure the word trap comes out real quickly whenever you're saying that.
Will be
that word trap is it's carrying a lot of weight in that scoop. No, trap. You have to say trap.
There's a comma in there in the middle.
A little heart attack that I had.
Finger and or trap you at the Expo.
Fantasy Football Expo.
All of a sudden, attendance drops off. No one has signed up. Bob's like, "What's going on?"
Bob Long would be pissed.
Sorry, you said finger what? Finger
trap.
Trap.
For those listening that don't have the visual portion, I'm now holding up an actual finger trap.
All right. Well, Coop, you're going to be guessing first on this round, this puzzle here.
Cool.
So we'll switch off here for each puzzle on who goes first. So, Coop, you are the first one. Here's your first clue. This player originally committed to Boise State University.
All right. I have a hard enough time remembering where guys actually went to school. So, as far as thinking about where they went to school, I don't know. Christian McCaffrey.
That is incorrect. Simon.
Just trying to think like West Coast, like what Marcus Mariota.
That is incorrect. The next clue. This player was born in Utah.
Utah. Is it? Let's see. What kind of Mormon players do we have? Is it Zach Wilson?
It is Zach Wilson.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna guess.
How about that detective work, dog?
Very well done.
Get you some, dude.
There were 5 clues in this one, so you were going to get 4 points, I believe.
There were actually a
Utah
lot
for Zach Wilson as the second clue. You might as well have said like, "Dude loves moms," like as the second clue.
I didn't think it was that obvious. It's just an entire state.
You know, there have been a lot of Mormon quarterbacks.
The next clue was "Dude loves moms."
The next clue was this player is Zach Wilson.
Not as easy as the other clue.
The name rhymes with Whack Wilson.
The next clue was this player was drafted in the first round of his NFL draft. And then this player threw 11 interceptions last season. And then the final one was this player was demoted to 3rd string halfway through the 2022 season.
I'm no expert here, but 11 interceptions seems much less descriptive than from Utah.
You're right. I'm mistaken that only one player in the NFL currently is from Utah.
No, I think there's like a lot of players from Utah. I'm just being problematic because I wanted to win.
Now,
well, Coop, you're gonna get 4 points.
Did you guys know that
there were 5 clues?
Steve Young, another Mormon quarterback in the NFL. Do you know that he's a direct descendant of Brigham Young?
I did not know that.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds impressive until you realize that he had like 56 kids. So
yeah, he had a lot.
Quite a few Youngs floating around.
All right, we got some guesses in the chat. Let's see, we got Gardner Minshew from Joey, Brock Purdy from and Ninja Brock Purdy. Tim did get Zach Wilson. Well done.
Nice job, Tim.
And Tommy said Gardner Minshew. Garnish Minshew.
A lot of people guessing quarterbacks off the rip. Kind of like
Garnish Minshew.
There it is.
Garnish Minshew.
Only QBs are from Utah.
We got to reserve that for his classy era when he when he gets that money and moves into an actual house, or maybe start with an apartment.
No, condo.
What's the next step after prison bus? I feel like prison bus to apartment is too big of a jump. Yeah, he needs to get like a Greyhound bus first.
You say hostel jail. You get the private room at the hostel next.
I feel like Gardner Minshew is definitely going to get like a college dorm. Like he's going to go rent out an apartment with other college, with college students.
He's going to find on Craigslist like roommate wanted, and there's going to be like 14 college kids living in an apartment, and Gardner Minshew is going to have the spare bedroom.
I feel like Gardner Minshew
100%.
would be a terrible roommate too.
Oh, the worst.
Just leaving bush lights out.
Bush lattes everywhere. All right, we're going into our next puzzle here. Coop, you have a solid lead here to start off this game. Simon, you were guessing first in this puzzle.
Ooh.
Here's your first clue. This player's favorite player is Marshawn Lynch.
Well, everyone. This player's favorite player is Marshawn Lynch. I'm going to go with, let's go with Kenneth Walker.
That is incorrect, Simon. Coop?
I wouldn't even rule Marshawn Lynch out as the answer here. His favorite player is Marshawn Lynch. How about Devin Singletary?
Devin Singletary is incorrect.
I was going to be so mad.
This player's, here's your next clue. This player's 40 time was 4.6.
Okay. There's a lot of players with a 4.6 40 time.
Fine.
I'm going to roll with this player is without a doubt in my mind Isaiah Pacheco.
That is bonk wrong.
Oh, you got bonk wrong.
One doubt in my mind.
Okay.
Coop.
I'm going to go with the Josh Jacobs.
It is not Josh Jacobs. Bonk. Here's your next clue. This player took a job at Walmart to pay for his tuition as a walk-on at his college.
And I got the first guess.
Simon, you have the first guess.
As a walk-on at his college, who went from walk-on to superstar and would work at Walmart. I'm going to go with. Why am I only able to think of one walk-on here? I know it's not Baker Mayfield. I'm positive that Baker Mayfield did not work at Walmart.
Kenneth walk-on.
Maybe that's right.
Waiting for
Maybe
it.
that's right this time.
This player walked on at their college and then absolutely killed it. Let's go with Rodrigo Blankenship.
That is incorrect, Simon. Coop.
Is it?
Rodrigo
Is it Travis Homer?
Never let him.
It is not Travis Homer, Coop. I'm sorry, bonk.
Dang it.
Here is your fourth clue. This player stands at 5'11". Simon.
I feel like that's a fairly normal height
Medium
for
height.
quarterbacks.
Medium. Regular speed. He's just regular height, regular speed player.
This is just
Unless you know the Walmart story. Unless you know the Walmart story, you don't know the answer.
So this guy, just imagine a guy.
Yeah,
you got it?
His favorite player is one of the best running backs of all time.
His favorite player is maybe the most popular favorite player of all time.
His favorite player is Michael Jordan.
Okay, so who's just a medium guy in the NFL? Let's think of some medium guys. I'm going to go with Elijah Mitchell.
Elijah Mitchell is incorrect. Coop.
Just going to keep guessing Seahawks. I feel like, or Raiders. But is it? If it's not a running back, that's so annoying. Is it?
So I threw a kicker in there just for fun.
Funsies. Is it DJ Dallas?
It is not DJ Dallas. Your final clue.
Uh-oh.
This player also played alongside Zach Wilson. Simon.
Played past tense? I don't know who Zach Wilson's teammates were. I know where he went to college. This player also played alongside Zach Wilson. Who
Utah.
was
surprising?
Who was that player?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. Let's just name a running back here. And they played alongside Zach Wilson, so they got to be relatively young. Maybe Zamir White. Andy's on the Raiders. Double whammy.
Zamir White is incorrect, Simon. Coop.
The thing is,
win a point here.
Dude, I really truly don't know. I'm about to guess Breece Hall because technically he did play with Zach Wilson on the Jets. Is it?
What's gonna be, Coop?
Thinking. Is it? No. Hachichi.
Yeah, everyone just be quiet. So
Is
that we
it
can-
Dare Agumbawale?
Bonk. It is not Dare Ogunbowale. We got some guesses here in the chat. A bunch of good guesses. McCaffrey from Nicholas. We got Kenneth Walker from Jam Juice. Spam Knight from Ninja. And Michael Carter, follow from Jam Juice there.
Any of those right?
No. None of them are
Oh,
right.
God.
The answer is Tyler Algier.
What?
Tyler Algier. So nobody's going to get points for that puzzle.
Pretty cool.
Oh, look, Joey coming in right after it said Tyler Algier.
Oh, Joey, you win.
Don't be suspicious.
You win.
Be suspicious.
I'll see you at the expo.
Oh my God.
I'm ET-ing him.
Don't call it ET-ing him.
Yeah, don't use ET as a verb.
No.
He loves ET. Joey loves
Oh,
ET.
look who it is. Scott Fishing here said, I bet it was someone I play in a league with. Oh, look at that. Aha.
God. That's a good way to guess it without actually guessing it so you don't get finger trapped.
That's true. Just hedge your bets. I think this is a player that I play in a league with. Are you guys surprised by any of those clues for Tyler Algier? Being a medium guy?
Now that I know the answer, he is as medium as they make him. Drafted
all right, we're going to get
rounds.
into our next puzzle here. Coop, you were guessing first on this one. Cool. Here's your first clue. This player's crush is Miley Cyrus.
Yeah, me too, dog.
Yeah, for real.
Current?
This guy had a job when he was in college. Let's see. Crush.
This guy went to college.
Crush on Miley Cyrus. Is it? That sounds like something a tight end would say. Right. Just weirdos. Is it Pat Fryermuth?
It is not Pat Fryermuth. Simon.
I feel like there's a direct correlation between like guys who love anime and guys who love Miley Cyrus. And so I'm going to go with Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams is incorrect.
Oh,
incorrect.
I bet he does. He just didn't say it out loud.
Yeah. Here's your next clue. This player caught 17 touchdowns for his college team.
17
in 1 year, or total in his entire time there, or?
That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. 1 year.
Cool.
1 year.
According to Keith.
Yeah, that makes it much more impressive than if he just like, I don't know if he was there for 6 years and caught 17 touchdowns.
Whose
turn is it? Coop's, not mine.
Coop gets to guess first on this one. Coop, where are you going?
The Jameson Williams?
It is not Jameson Williams. Simon?
17 touchdown passes. Is it?
That's so many.
Alec Pierce.
It is not Alec Pierce. Good guess. Your next clue is this player is the first ever number 6 overall pick in his team's history. Who? Your guess.
Number 6 overall pick. Was it Drake London?
It was not Drake London. Simon.
Where did he get picked? He got picked 4. Or did he?
Was this guy the number 6 overall pick? He was early. TJ Hawkinson?
Is not TJ Hawkinson. Your fourth clue here. This player was reunited with his college QB in the NFL.
Oh, it's Jamar Chase.
It is not Jamar Chase. Simon.
What?
Travis Etienne.
No, he was picked late. He was picked at the end of the first.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot the number 6 clue.
Oopsie doops.
And your final clue here, we're down to 1 point available. This player's touchdown celebration is a reference to his last name.
Oh my God. This is the worst day of my life. This is,
oh my God. I am the winner. It's Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle is correct.
God, we are so stupid. Somebody in the chat, please tell me somebody in the chat got that way.
He just got it. Scott Fish just got it.
Wow. After I said it, did I give him enough time to say it?
He beat you. He beat you to it.
Watch out.
Some good guesses in the chat, though. Hollywood Brown, Vontae Adams, AJ Brown, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Those guesses are all better than all the guesses we had pretty much the entire time.
I don't know.
Where did Jamar Chase go?
If Travis Etienne caught 17 touchdown passes in his last season, we would know that, and we'd say it all the time. We would say it every episode. We would say
that would be.
He did catch 17 touchdown passes, right?
That is true. That is a good point. 17 in 1 year, and Dustin said it's 17 touchdowns in his college career. So did Keith just lie?
Yeah. Well, then I'm seeing now in the chat. He said it's not in 1 year.
Solid. Great job, Keith. Just
Way to go,
solid
Keith.
work back there.
Way to go, dude.
1 year.
1 year, dude. Yeah, he's chill. The way you moved just now reminded me of the meme of The Weeknd, where he's like stuck in the mirrors. That's Keith just stuck in the system right now. I don't know.
To this day, every time I hear that song, the ooh, I see him running around backstage. Like immediately my hands want to go up and start just like looking.
Panicking,
like that.
dude.
It's stuck in my head. It looked like pure panic.
Well done, guys. Coop, you have a solid lead here. Simon, you're not out of it. You can tie it up with this puzzle here.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
You just got to know what everyone did for work when they were in high school. I have a list of like who worked at Dunkin' Donuts.
I haven't updated my celebrity crush NFL player crossover list yet this season. It's outdated.
Waddle. I mean, dude.
See, I still had Mila Kunis listed as Jalen Waddle celebrity.
Waddle's
kind
of.
I guess it updated.
Waddle's kind of.
She got.
Waddle's cool. He's cool enough. He might have a shot on that one. Like Freiermuth.
Yeah, for sure.
Freiermuth, not gonna happen. Waddle's in the ballpark. TJ Hawkinson, sorry, dog. Not happening.
Yeah, dude. Cut your hair. Cut your hair, Hawkinson.
Cut your hair, then maybe.
All right, Simon, you get to guess first on this our fourth puzzle here. Your first clue. Team dietitians advise this player to go gluten-free after experiencing stomach issues.
Lamar Jackson?
It's not Lamar Jackson.
Oh, really?
Coop.
Oh, man. That was the only.
I just had to throw the obvious one out there. I didn't think it was, but like that's the most prominent tummy issues we've seen recently.
He's the tummy issue spokesman. Gluten-free. No gluten for the boy. No bread for this fella.
Or pasta. Oh,
pasta.
God. No. Or bread.
I said bread already. Kyler Murray?
It is not Kyler Murray. Your second clue. This player has a tattoo of the Joker from The Dark Knight on his forearm.
So it's a tight end.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It was weird. But
that's a tattoo of the Joker on his forearm. Okay, so I've already completely forgotten the first clue.
Am I first on this one?
Team dietitians.
I'm
Simon's first. Team dietitians advise this player to go gluten-free after experiencing stomach issues, and then this player has a tattoo of the Joker from The Dark Knight on his forearm.
So we're looking for a gluten-free incel, is what we want right here. I think I'm going to go with...
When you said incel, my first thought was Tyler Lockett.
I'm going to go with a different Tyler. We'll go Tyler Higbee.
Tyler Higbee is incorrect.
Oh, I felt good about that one.
Oh, good. I'm going to go with a different Tyler as well, with Tyler Conklin.
Tyler Conklin is also incorrect.
Really
he seems like a Joker tattoo guy, though.
Totally does. Totally does. Your third clue. This year, this player signed a $60 million deal after having the franchise tag placed on him.
So not a tight end.
I hope it's a sick Joker tattoo with that kind of money, because I've seen some really sick ones and I've seen some really bad ones. Like a Joker tattoo is top tier or bottom tier. Know what I mean? It's either going to be one of the coolest tattoos you've ever seen or one of the worst, depending on that execution. $60 million deal this offseason, Jail. Is that what you said?
$60 million deal this after having the franchise tag placed on him.
After having the franchise tag placed on him. Man, I wish I had more attention paid to that right now. There's just so many football that happened since then and now.
That happened.
Yeah,
so many football.
Ben had so many football that now
so many football that happened.
Okay, so sign an extension. We'll go with we're gonna go with this was very clearly Ryan Tannehill.
This was not Ryan Tannehill.
So I threw the smoke screen by saying it's not a tight end. I think it is a tight end. And
You son of a gun.
I think the tattoo would make a lot of sense for this player because his last name is Njoku. So the Joker tattoo would make sense if it were David Njoku.
Oh,
David Njoku is incorrect.
That was a great guess, though.
Dang.
He was even franchise tagged.
You had me convinced. You had me convinced there, Coop. I was like, oh, we got it.
How many Jokers are there, dude?
I don't think he would have signed a $60 million deal.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, now your fourth clue. This player's nickname is the secret weapon.
So not the Joker.
The secret weapon. I mean, is that like a self-given nickname? I haven't heard that one thrown around very much.
Sounds like one.
Yeah.
I would ask Keith, but we know how that goes.
The secret weapon, who I keep forgetting every clue.
He's going to be like, that's just the name I gave him.
Has a Joker tattoo. And what's the other piece of information that signed a $60 million deal and gluten-free. That's the piece of information I was missing. Oh man, this is building up quite the character. Just all these different little tidbits of information. This is definitely, without a doubt, the player that we're talking about is
plays football.
Is Mike
football happen?
Kirk Cousins.
Mike Kirk Cousins?
Just Kirk Cousins.
Just Kirk Cousins. That is incorrect.
Yeah, I know.
$60 million deal for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I'm fully aware that's wrong.
$100 million or nothing for Yo Kirk.
Is it Mike Williams?
It is not Mike Williams.
Dude, we stink at this.
You guys are really bad.
Who the heck is
fifth clue.
Oh, there's another clue.
Is that you have one more clue here. This player changed his number from 12 to 14 in 2020.
I got it.
Simon, you're guessing first.
Is it DJ Moore?
It's not DJ Moore.
He changed his number
that
from
gave
12.
That gave me the answer. The 12 to 14 number change. He changed his number to accommodate Mr. Tom Brady. It's Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin is correct, Coop.
He's the secret weapon, huh? The secret.
I don't know where that name came from.
Oh, well,
like
you throw. We do a terrible job, and you throw a Will Smith on there. Ha All right.
Yes, this is the franchise tag. Big clue there. I had no idea he had a Joker tattoo.
I gotta see this tattoo.
Pretty bad. But yeah, we gotta pull that up. Ninja guessing Godwin at the last second. Scott Fish guessing Godwin right before the buzzer. Well done. Get some good guesses though.
Did anyone guess after I guessed it and get finger trapped?
Yeah, Ninja guessed after you guessed it.
Ninja.
That warrants a finger trap.
See you at the expo. Yeah, that was the rule on that. If you guess it after we give you the answer, you get finger trapped.
Get finger trapped. I like that.
I googled Chris Godwin Joker tattoo and I can't find a single image of it.
Dude, that looks like Deadpool to me, not the Joker.
I think I just googled wrong. Maybe I typed Chris Godwin incorrectly. Maybe I wrote Mike Evans instead. And
He said, my friends also call me the secret weapon. I mean, they don't say it to me, but they definitely think it.
The secret weapon.
The secret weapon. It's a pretty good nickname.
He does have a large Joker tattoo on his arm.
Coop, you were going to win this game 6-0. Well done. Well done. Simon, next time, buddy.
Yeah, this is I'd like to thank no one. Specifically not Keith and JL for this game. So shout out to not a single damn person for my performance in this one.
You're very
all
welcome.
Suck, every one of you.
You're very welcome.
Guys, coming up, we have our Celebrity Snowball Fight Draft right after this. We're drafting a team of celebrities to compete in a snowball fight with us. And then we're going to talk some Dynasty trade values as well, using our friend Peaked in High School's charts. No trade daddy today, but we are unsupervised using his charts over here. So it's going to be a lot of fun. You're listening to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just banning the porn bots real quick.
Whenever the porn bots, I will say, dude, whenever the porn bots show up, it means we're doing something good. It means that we're showing up. So, you know, they wouldn't find us if we weren't, if the live stream wasn't good. So, you know what? We welcome you here. Tinder-hot-.xyz-festival adult dating site. One of our biggest fans.
I detach all of my self-worth to how many porn bots come into our show in the morning. If we don't get any porn bots, I go the rest of the day thinking like, what did I do wrong? Why didn't Tinder-xyz.com want to hang out with me this morning?
Yeah. People ask, how was the show? I'm like, not that good.
No porn
bot showed up.
Moose and Keith, weekdays at 10 a.m. Eastern.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah until he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to him. I would say about he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required, and then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was
concentrating on the on cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Better Sports Network is betting, fantasy, collectibles. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to get into our ever so important draft today. It is the winter season. I saw snow up in Cleveland this weekend, and it inspired us. We are doing a celebrity snow fight draft, snowball fight draft, not just snow fight. It's going to be a ball
Snow
form.
fight.
Snow fight. That's just where you punch each other in the snow. This is way more fun. It involves snowballs. We're going to be drafting a team. How many rounds, JL, of celebrities are we doing here?
5.
5 rounds of celebrities. You're going to draft a 5-person team that will then compete against each other in a snowball fight. And we want you guys to vote on which team you think is the best, which team is coming out on top in this one today. Do we have a draft order determined, or should we do that right now?
You can redetermine that. I did just run it through a random number generator, though.
That's perfect.
Well, let's
I'll take your
decide.
random number.
Well, let's decide if
Coop,
we want to redo it.
I've put you last every time, so you should probably be happy that JL randomized it, unless you end up last.
Let's see what the order is.
No,
then
I've
we'll
been
decide
last
if-
every time. Coop's
Oh,
been
you're
first
right.
every time.
I've been first a couple times. I was first when I took Pokemon. That's for sure.
That's for sure. You're
And
right.
the next one.
Well, let's see. If I'm not first,
forget
we'll
what it was.
redo it. How about that?
That's totally fair. I came in first, then followed by Coop, then followed by Simon. I don't think it's much of an advantage here for the
All right.
first one.
Fine.
Unfortunately, like the Pokemon one, since there's so many options.
There are a lot of celebrities. So we do have some rules. One rule, really, no athletes. No drafting athletes. Otherwise, I'd probably just draft
Say like
Patrick
DeGrom.
Mahomes, Josh Allen, start drafting pitchers as well. Like that would just be it would
Ooh,
take some
just
of the fun out.
getting knocked out.
Patrick Mahomes snowball would put me in the dirt. I would not be getting back up after that.
All right. No athletes.
No athletes. And throw which celebrities you would pick in the chat. We want to see them. We want to see them. They might influence our decisions here.
So John Luke, you've got the first overall pick.
I have the first overall pick, and honestly, I really wish I didn't, because now I have to play this game where I have to figure out which people I think that you guys are going to pick here.
I got a
Who's
clear
the
101.
Clear 101.
I have a 101 in my mind, and I would trade my pick for yours if that were on the table. Take that pressure off you.
I'm gonna go with Chris Pratt as my 101 choice here.
A solid pick.
I thought maybe he could fall for this other pick that I have, but I can't take the chance.
Dale, here's what I like about that pick. He doesn't immediately, like, my mind first immediately goes to like hyper athletic celebrities. That's where my mind goes. But then I start thinking, in a snowball fight, there's an element of just mischief that you need in these players. Like, you need someone who's a little bit mischievous out there. It doesn't matter if they can throw the ball 100 miles per hour if they're not thinking like they're 11 in a snowball fight. You know what I mean? Like, Chris Pratt's gonna be like, quick, help me build this, and he's just like building a hump, and then he's like ducked behind it. You can still see him entirely, but like
He's fully in it. He's fully bought in.
Exactly. He is bought in. I think that's a great first overall.
Plus, at the end of the day, snowball fights are supposed to be fun, and no doubt Chris Pratt would be a fun teammate.
Also, I'm seeing Buddy from Elf in the chat from Scott. That now you can draft Will Ferrell, but you don't get the character, and you can say that the character experience helped him in the snowball fight for sure.
Yes,
but you're getting
You are drafting the person. Yeah.
You're drafting the person. Right there.
Yeah.
So Chris Pratt, 101. I like the pick, JL, which means Coop, you're up.
Yeah. Producer Keith wants a clarification. Are we allowed to pick deceased celebrities?
I was thinking
No.
in their current state, like you get that celebrity on your team in the state
You can, but they're
in.
dead.
I was gonna say, dude, that would definitely be taking like Abe Lincoln right now, dude. I'd be taking George Washington, and I just have a commander like that. Like, we'd be flanking everybody.
That's true.
But since he's dead as a doornail, I'm gonna take the guy that I had ranked 101. I think this is a very very safe pick. I want my team to be tactical. So I'm taking Keanu Reeves as my first pick.
Keanu Reeves.
If you've seen the way he's trained for any of these films, like before he does John Wick, he actually is in the range shooting the actual guns with live ammo, like doing the 3-gun test, shooting with the pistols, shooting with the shotguns. I think Keanu Reeves, if you've seen The Matrix, you've seen The Matrix, you've seen John Wick, man, this guy has the tactical advantage down. Give me Keanu.
It's a good pick. He's on my list.
Not anymore. He's not. Cross him out.
I think when I say my pick, you guys are going to go, oh, that's the 101. Maybe not. Sometimes I make picks and you guys are like, you're an idiot. But this guy in a snowball fight is going to be a menace, an absolute menace. Adam Sandler is my first overall pick in this draft. I think Adam Sandler, he's got the goofiness, but like he's going to be goofy competitive. Know what I mean? He's going to be out there like he is winning that snowball fight. And he's going to be wearing his gym shorts down to his ankles while he does it. He doesn't care.
Pair of Timberland boots.
Exactly. He's going to have Timbs and basketball shorts on. And he's
Just
going to be
imagine him
killing
like,
it out there.
like red faced, like laughing the whole time. You know, like the gif of him with the cereal. Like it's that.
He grew up in New England too, so you know he's been in his share of snowball ruckuses.
Oh, 100%. He's coming prepared. He's a pro. I took a vet with my first overall pick.
That's a good pick.
Absolute wagon.
Guys, and we are adding a contestant to this draft. Producer Keith is going to be drafting along with us. He's going to be throwing his answers to us in the chat. And he just took who I was going to take with my next pick. Why did we add him into this draft?
That's a good
Terry
pick.
Crews. Terry Crews is the next pick. Oh, legitimately, if you look at my list right now, Terry Crews is the very next name on there. Coop added Keith added Terry Crews to his team. And Keith, you get another pick because you're on the turn here. So you got to take 2 guys right here. If you take my next one.
Dustin said, can I just draft the Bills Mafia? They're great at throwing snowballs and making players cry.
And Dustin also said 101 is Ice Cube. Pretty athletic, but no one is going to dare throw on him.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, and then Keith with his second pick, going double Cruise, Tom Cruise as his next pick right there. I think Tom Cruise might be a little too serious for a snowball fight. He might be above
such a weirdo.
snowball
If you're
fight.
playing to win, and I mean, and the guy does he does all his own stunts, and he's also like tiny, so he's kind of hard to hit too with snowballs, right?
That's a good point. Small target.
Yeah, small target. So the double Cruise. What would you name your team of Terry Crews and Tom Cruise?
Cruise control. Yeah, naturally. Yeah,
that's it right there, dude.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Cruise 2, Tokyo Drift.
Trenton in here said Will Smith. It's a good one. And Jay said Nicolas Cage.
Whoa, let's not, dude. Whoa, hey now, easy with the
everybody
name
can see the
drops
chat.
here. I know.
I get 2 live crew. I like that one from Dustin.
The 2 live crew. That's solid too. All right, who's
Saw
up?
Iceman in there too.
Back to Simon.
I'm questioning everything.
Ninja.
I was going to take Terry Crews, and now I'm like, I've got this list of names, and I'm trying to decide who deserves to be next on my list. Don't overthink it, Simon. Don't overthink
it, Simon.
Don't overthink it.
Go Danny DeVito. Were you gonna go Danny DeVito?
Oh,
if you look on my list, Danny DeVito is like the 3rd name down on my list of someone that I'm considering taking. I think he'd be hard to hit. I think he'd be hard to hit, and I think he'd be mad. I think he'd be sneaky. I think all of a sudden he would scare the hell out of you if all of a sudden just like, I'm Danny DeVito.
Dude,
Chucks
if you get
ball in your face.
the penguin Danny DeVito from Batman, he just
that's exactly what
I picture him just sliding around, you know what I mean? All greased up. You get greased up Danny DeVito from Always Sunny combined with the penguin. He's gonna be hard to hit. He's gonna be flying around,
slipping the slide, super nimble.
Yeah,
Jill, I know you said it as a joke, but if you look at my list over here, there's like 5 names sitting here on it. I think I gotta go Danny DeVito, Adam Sandler, and Danny DeVito to start my draft off, and I'm feeling good about it.
We kind of just sold. I mean, jeez.
There's a reason he was on my list. I think he would be terrifying. And I think he would be invested. Like, I think he would immediately buy into it. Think of how many times you've seen him just buy into whatever it is. Like, if he can buy into playing that guy in Dumbo, he can buy into a snowball fight. Like, I'm positive of it.
He seems ruthless, dude. He seems like the kind of guy where, like, you'd be out there throwing snowballs and all of a sudden somebody, like, bites your ankle. and you look down and it's Danny DeVito. All right,
Coop, you were up.
All right, I'm up. So I'm looking around.
So far, you got Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, I'm looking around at the different builds here so far. You, JL, you started off just taking a solid all-around guy. You took like the Jonathan Taylor. Like he's good in every asset, every factor. I look at producer Keith's team, and I feel like that's a team I wanna combat. Like he's got the tactical guy, he's got his big strong guy. I think I'm gonna add
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so I have my tactical guy in Keanu Reeves to kind of go up against his Tom Cruise. I'm gonna take my strong guy here, a guy I think can take the middle part of a snowman and chuck it across the entire field and just crush. So I'm gonna take The Rock here with mine.
Yeah,
on my list.
He's got to be on everyone's list. Like that's a pick. I was hoping if it slid one more round, I wasn't gonna not take The Rock if he got back to me.
You're not gonna take The Rock, dude. Even in The Rock,
you gotta take The Rock.
He's the one dude that's allowed to put rocks in his snowballs too, because his name's The Rock. So he's just throwing absolute eye wreckers. He's Daniel Bellingering people with rocks and snowballs.
I like that.
Man,
intimidation factor.
Now I'm sitting here thinking, like, if you're going to draft like a big guy, a strong guy, it's got to be better than The Rock. And you're just going to be like, now if you draft anyone that's like the strong guy, and if they're not as strong as The Rock, they're going to be like, oh, well, Coop has The Rock. You know what I mean? Like it's almost eliminated a category of guys to kind of draft because it'll just be playing second fiddle to the strong guy on Coop's team. It makes me think I got to zag my strategy.
Why don't you take Better L in the chat with the strong arms, dude? Strong arm him, dude.
So I think I have the next two picks here.
There they are.
And I feel pretty good about these next two picks, actually. First pick, I'm going to go with Kevin Hart.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that blocks me too from getting the Rock
funny
Kevin
guy?
Hart. No, because The Rock and Kevin Hart are in like 15 movies together. They have the chemistry.
That's true. They do have the chemistry.
So
yeah, Kevin Hart, small guy. He's also pretty ripped. So I think he's pretty athletic, dude. And we're just gonna be laughing between Chris Pratt and Kevin Hart. We're gonna be giggling the whole time. It's gonna be the best snowball fight I've ever had.
That's team fun.
That's really all I care about.
That's team fun.
Yeah.
And just going along that theme here, I'm gonna go with my next pick, Kumail Nanjiani.
No, you son of a gun.
I thought he might be on your list, Simon, which is why I had to take him this round.
You did.
I thought you were gonna pivot.
He is buff and hilarious.
I love him.
He's one of my favorite people.
I was hoping you would pivot all the way off fun and be like, speaking of fun, I'm gonna take The Undertaker. It's just somebody who never has
take Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Speaking of fun. Good
I'm so mad, JL. I thought for sure I thought I'd be able to like sneak that one in there. Know what I mean? That would be like my ringer pick in the last round down here.
He's buff now.
He's buff.
Oh yeah.
Go check him out with his shirt off.
He's yoked. I mean, you don't even have to type buff. You don't even have to type buff. It just comes right up.
That's how you know you've made it.
Right? Jeez, he's yoked. Wow.
That's wild. So Coop, you're back on the clock, right?
Yeah, I'm back up, and I got this guy. I almost took this guy last round. I wanted to make sure that I stayed out ahead here. So I've got my tactical guy, Keanu Reeves. I got my big boy in The Rock. I'm gonna take somebody that's. You guys each have a fairly nimble guy on your squad. You have Danny DeVito, a slippery fella.
Yeah, nimble. That's the word I used to describe Danny DeVito.
Yeah, and you have Kevin Hart. I'm gonna take Jackie Chan here.
Good pick. I saw someone in the chat. Strong Style Ninja threw out Jackie Chan a little.
Did he throw Jackie Chan in there? Yeah.
Yeah, he's on my list for sure.
That's a good pick, Strong Style. Let's go, baby. Yeah. So
Jackie Rush Hour too.
Yeah, I just feel like he'd be flipping around everywhere, dude, jumping off things, getting himself into certain mischief, on the edge of a snowbank, doing one of these. Whoa. Like
what's he been up to? I feel like I haven't seen him enough.
I think they're doing. I heard that they greenlit a new Rush Hour movie with him. Him and Chris Tucker.
I love those.
Yeah. I saw, and you know how I found that is there was a tweet I saw where this African American dude was like, if this new Rush Hour movie doesn't have subtle racism in it, then I'm not watching. Because
That's what Rush Hour was all about.
That's how they pitched that movie. It was like this movie subtly racist. You in?
Yeah.
Kung Fu and a hint of playful racism. That's Rush Hour. But I bet that's
Strong Sound Ninja said Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker confirmed Rush Hour 4. I'm going to see it regardless.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. Simon, you're up next.
You keep making them. I'll keep watching them.
And Dale, I think you're right. Coop kind of went the strong guy rate. I like a bit of a wild card on my team. I think that's what I got going on right now. Like, you got the fun team. Coop's got like the strong guy team. Keith's got like kind of the athletic team. I'm with Adam Sandler and Danny DeVito on this team so far. I'm gonna add another person, a funny person who I think adds a wild card element. And Tiffany Haddish is joining my team for the snowball fight. She is going to be competitive and unpredictable out there and just making people absolutely lose it laughing. We're going to keep growing out this wild card squad and add Haddish to this. That one wasn't on my list whenever he came in here, but it came to me. I was like, I think that's who I want to add here.
I like that.
Intimidation factor way up.
Way up.
Way up.
I love Tiffany Haddish. Yeah, in a snowball fight, man, she's gonna kill it.
Crush.
I honestly, she wasn't even on my list, and now that I think about it, she should have been, because that is a great pick.
Wow.
Now we got Keith on the clock.
Keith in the chat pointing out that Tiffany Haddish is a natural shot, almost made the Olympics as an archer, and played in a league of their own. Oh, no, that's his pick.
His pick. Gina Davis. Tiffany Haddish did not play in a league of their own.
I don't think she was she did not almost made the Olympics.
Sorry, Keith. We gotta get Keith a mic. What the heck?
So Keith is taking
can you imagine
66-year-old Gina Davis, because at one point in 1992 she played in a baseball movie. So that is who Keith's taking right
She
here.
almost made the Olympics. Does that make her an athlete?
An archer. In archery, but she's an actor. She's an Academy Award.
You know what? I don't even want to dispute it. I'll let him have Gina Davis. Not even on my list.
100%.
I took The Rock, who is who at one point was an athlete himself in the WWE.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, Gina Davis, Keith's first pick. And then Keith's next pick is I need someone to give my team some attitude, a natural born leader who can whip out one-liners. Clint Eastwood is the next pick.
I like that choice, dude. I like that choice because he definitely seems like he could.
Weird build.
It is a weird build, but Clint Eastwood, I could see him, hanging towards the back, calling out commands, leading the squad. Yeah, better out pointing out Dirty Harry, right? I mean, his resume as a gunslinger, you don't have to go through it,
This is Key's squad so far: Terry Crews, Tom Cruise, Gina Davis, Clint Eastwood. If this does not sound like the cast for a new retiree action movie, like blockbuster, I don't know what it is.
Western comedy.
Yeah, action Western comedy.
They do Wild Wild West 2. That's the
Band
cast.
of Misfits get together.
Yeah.
One last job.
That's a good choice, though. I like that one, dude.
Simon, you are next. You are on the clock now with your 4th round pick.
And I'm really debating here. I've got some that are maybe a little bit off the radar, but I think they would make great additions to the team just with what they would bring, some unique qualities. But I think with this one, I'm going to go one that I'm afraid might get taken, and is one that I absolutely want to take. It's the last one that was predetermined, that wasn't drafted here. I'm going to take a guy that is nimble and can dance and can avoid throws. Justin Timberlake is going to be added to my team. I think he would get in. He's going to be hard to hit. He's going to be the one dancing around, keeping morale up, probably leading the songs. Yeah, singing the entire
trying
time.
to get everybody to sing together.
Absolutely. Justin Timberlake is the player I'm adding to my team. And we know he's goofy. I've seen him do the lip sync. You know what I mean? He's going to be all about a snowball fight.
Meanwhile, from my team's camp, you just hear Kevin Hart yelling, "Shut the hell up, Justin!"
over and over and over again. But I am digging my team so far. Adam Sandler, Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish, and Justin Timberlake. We are looking good out there.
Yeah. Well, I'm bringing in. You talked about how Chris Godwin's nickname is the secret weapon. I'm about to bring in my secret weapon. I'm about to bring in a man who can handcraft the perfect snowballs, meatball style. I'm bringing in Guy Fieri. Let's go.
Oh, he's going to take your team all the way to Flavortown.
Taking him all the way to Flavortown,
Next
baby. He's
stop, Flavortown.
Yeah,
The Rock just took East pick.
The Rock's gonna take the Rock's gonna build us a giant fort, and then Guy Fieri is gonna be inside that fort in our custom snowball kitchen, just crafting up the perfect ice balls back there, just hand crafted. I was deciding which. I was like looking at the chefs. I'm like, do I go Bobby Flay? He's a meatball guy. Do I go Gordon Ramsay? But Gordon Ramsay kind of a jerk, so I'm not trying to bring that energy to the squad. I'm trying to bring somebody who's a little fun. I'll bring a little Flavortown. So give me Guy Fieri.
Little Flavortown. I like that. Guy Fieri. I have the next 2 picks here. And with my first one, I'm going to go with Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds mixed with my squad, I think they're going to have great chemistry. I'm going to follow that up with my own strongman, Chris Hemsworth.
Dude, you guys are just going to be rolling around on the ground laughing, and we're just going to walk over and just dump some snow on you guys. Like, I don't think your team's going to
absolutely love
I don't think your team's going to be able to keep it together for an entire snowball fight over there. You got two. Your team's too much fun.
We're going to make everybody laugh. So you guys are also going to be on the ground laughing, and then we're going to just nail you with snowballs.
Your team so far is all people who have been in the MCU and Kevin Hart.
Sounds like my kind of company.
I was like, I'm drafting superheroes and Kevin Hart for my
Kevin
team.
Hart. Funny superheroes and Kevin Hart.
Of the people we drafted so far, who would have the funniest reaction if they got hit like right in the face with a snowball?
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart.
Adam Sandler would just get mad. I feel like even if
Gina Davis would probably be hurt. Like if the Rocket, Gina Davis,
Clint Eastwood's like 90 years old.
Yeah, if the Rocket, the Rocket probably take out Gina Davis and Clint Eastwood with one snowball.
Not even thrown hard.
2 for 1. Yeah,
it's like a tossed underhand. Coop, you are on the clock for your final pick here.
All right, I'm with my last pick. I'm gonna take. This is gonna be a defensive maneuver.
Vince McMahon from Ninja.
A defensive play by me. I'm taking Taylor Swift because if you've seen her fan base, they wouldn't dare. They would be people diving out and just taking snowballs like Secret Service style. Her fans would just be diving out as the snowballs come in and just like bop bop bop. I love you, Taylor. So we would have I'm getting Taylor Swift just for the human shield of Swifties that comes along with it.
I'm just assuming that whenever she's out there, there's going to be millions of people just like diving in front of her to take the snowball.
Just like, I love you. Get down, Mr. President. Just getting popped with snowballs, dude. So, yep, Taylor Swift.
And Al in the chat said, I'm surprised no one has taken Ralph Macchio yet. That dude, all that dude does is win.
That's true.
It's all about team construction though, with only 5. Know what I mean? Like you got to fill certain roles or follow a trend. And I'm not sure Ralph Macchio wouldn't fit on my team. I don't think.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll follow that up with Will Ferrell, proven vet on the snowball field. Yeah.
So true, dude. With the
literal
machine gun arm. I couldn't take him because I had to get Guy Fieri on the squad.
Yeah.
Only so many spots.
So, Simon, you are on the clock with your last pick. So far, you have Adam Sandler, Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish, and Justin Timberlake.
And you know what? I'm adding one more person here. A small target. She's rather short. And I think I'm looking for buy-in on my team. I'm feeling a little bit like Bill Belichick here. Know what I mean? Like, I may not be taking the best athletes, but if there's someone out here that I think is going to buy into this snowball fight, that's who I want on my team. And I can't think of an actress who would be willing, full force, put eye black on, get out there, than Anna Kendrick on this snowball fight team. Anna Kendrick is ready
to be singing just
go.
Tunes with Justin Timberlake.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun. So Anna Kendrick is being added to my team here. I think she's going to be ready to chuck them, especially with some people sitting over there on the other side. Like, you think she's not going to beam Kevin Hart in the head? Absolutely, she's going to take that shot. She sees Guy Fieri over there. She's going to take him to Flavortown.
Why can I perfectly imagine the face Kevin Hart's going to make when he gets hit in the face with a snowball? It's going to be the eyes kind of crossed and the
I just picture Anna Kendrick, just the growl she would have on her face right before we started.
Exactly. That's
She really-
exactly it. That's what she's gonna go out there ready to fight.
That's hot. All right, good pick.
Keith, you got one
Good
more
pick.
pick.
Mr. Irrelevant or Mrs. Irrelevant.
He said, I want to add some emotions to this mix. Things are going to get nasty on this field, and I need someone who has some skin in the game. So he is going with Anna Faris as the last pick on his team.
Wow. That kind of neutralizes JL's pick, does it not?
Does it?
Of which pick?
Yeah. His Chris Pratt. That's the combat Chris Pratt. It's producer Keith. He also in the chat.
Ex-wife.
The old ex-wife.
It's distracting.
Chris don't care.
There's gonna be some
Chris is
frozen,
buff now.
There's gonna be some frozen tears on those snowballs.
So what really happened is Keith drafted someone who's specifically going to target one person on another team. Joe, your Chris Pratt might just get taken out. Yeah. Or other way around. Anna Faris might just get taken out.
Keith is running the box and one defense with Anna Faris one-on-one with Chris Pratt. Gotta love that.
His
move.
team's getting wrecked, but he just wants to target the one player.
Secret agent move, dude. How would this snowball fight go down? We'd have to 4 quadrants with a no man's land in the middle.
Naturally, yeah. Capture the flag style. King
That's
of the
why
hill.
you got to have a Jackie Chan, dude. It would be crazy with like Tom Cruise and Jackie Chan like dipping and diving beneath the
Clint
mulch
Eastwood
in the
walking
middle.
up the like carefully walking on the snow, not to slip.
Well, I was
Clint Eastwood
imagining more like
sitting in the back calling the whole thing stupid.
Paintball style, where like we're in like there's like a forest or something, and everyone there's like all these snowballs in the middle, and then like at the beginning you're all together, but it spreads out and you got to hunt them down.
Producer Keith saying Anna Faris is my Sauce Gardner, shutting down your Justin Jefferson. I kind of love.
I don't know.
I kind of
man.
love that play, dude.
I think Chris Pratt broke up with her.
Chris Pratt is going for 203 touchdowns on that
Just-
one. I'm sorry, bro. I don't think you thought that one.
You just
through,
picked,
bro.
you just picked a matchup proof wide receiver.
I like it though. I like it.
Also, Dustin in here with a team that he would have drafted: Ice Cube, Zac Efron, Charlie Day, and Mark Romper and 50 Cent. Charlie Day, that's not a real person. Oh wait, no, it is a real person. His real name is Charlie.
Charlie
in real
Day.
life.
Talk
and
about a wild card. Charlie Day.
That'd be a pretty good one right there. Whew.
And
Let's do a
50
quick-
Cent. 50 Cent, dude. Somebody pointed out earlier in the chat. I don't know if you've ever seen 50 Cent throw. Go look at 50 Cent's the first pitch he did for a baseball game. It's quite literally the worst one anyone's ever done.
Yeah, I've seen that video before, and I'm gonna watch it again today because it's
he'd be hitting Gina Davis in the back of the head on your own team. Like that dude got zero accuracy over there.
Zero accuracy.
Are there any that didn't get drafted, guys, that were sitting on your list? Keith just put one in the chat that I had on my list. Gary Busey for the wild card effect was on my list as well.
Yeah,
I had Johnny Knoxville and Steve-O.
I had Steve-O on my list, JL. I should have put Knoxville on there.
Nick Cage was on my list. He was mentioned in the chat. You got to have a little crazy. That's the Gary Busey pick too.
Liam Neeson.
Liam Neeson. I think I had him or Jason Statham.
Yeah, for that role, I also had Chuck Norris as the
Chuck Norris would be a good one.
Yeah.
Bob
Vin
Ross,
Diesel.
just because no one would throw a snowball at Bob Ross, I think he'd be difficult to hit just from like a moral perspective.
Mr. Rogers. That's my human shield. That's my human shield, Mr. Rogers.
The dead body, of Mr.
I
Rogers.
forgot about the rule. The no dead rule.
I had 538's Nate Silver.
Very
I did
tactical.
have the nerd route where I like whenever I was debating Justin Timberlake, the guy I was considering was Neil deGrasse Tyson to kind of set up the game plan and the trajectory, like to be the tactical guy. But then I decided no, we're going full wild card buy-in team right
That's
here.
what I was thinking is if we have Nate Silver, we're going to be breaking this down. We're going to win. But then I went the fun route, which we don't care about winning.
Just pick the most hated person so that everyone's focusing on them. Like to pick like Kanye West.
Like a red hair.
I got Kanye West. Yeah, he just it starts immediately. He gets buried.
Okay,
and
let's
Donald Glover also.
Oh,
and Ed Sheeran. I feel like that could do just like there's never been a snowball fight without Ed Sheeran being there.
Ed Sheeran wouldn't even be
Right,
my
he
top.
looks like with boogers running down his lip.
He just, it feels like he's been in every snowball fight ever.
He has been at every snowball fight I've ever been at, like a booger-nosed Ed Sheeran with, and he's definitely got mittens on, not gloves. Like there's no
He's not very good.
The ones with the snow sticks to. He's not even my top 500, bro.
He's not very good, but he has fun while he's doing it.
He's most likely to he's definitely the most likely person to like break a wrist doing it. Yeah.
He's just smiling the entire time he's out there. Guys, let's run through these teams real quick. Joe, you have the first overall pick. You have Chris Pratt, Kevin Hart, Kumail Nanjiani, Ryan Reynolds, and Chris Hemsworth. Pretty solid squad. I don't always love your teams. I love that team.
I won this draft. So.
Please read producer Keith's last comment in the chat.
He said Ed Sheeran is in a snowsuit and falls and can't get up. 100%.
Too puffy. Just like
he's not even upset about it though. He's just kind of laying there like, hey guys. Hey guys.
On his back.
Oh my god.
Coop, you had the second overall pick. You took Keanu Reeves, The Rock, Jackie Chan, Guy Fieri, and Taylor Swift as your squad. I had the third pick, and I took Adam Sandler, Danny DeVito, Tiffany Haddish, Justin Timberlake, and Anna Kendrick. I'm feeling good about that.
It's going to be tough.
If we got some good teams in here. And then Keith, Terry Crews, Tom Cruise started out so strong. Then added Gina Davis, Clint Eastwood, and Anna Faris to end your draft out. That's Keith's team right there. I think you were the team to beat through 2 rounds, Keith.
We let Keith draft.
We got to get him a mic so that he can explain these picks, though. That's the hard part. It's so easy to bash on him when he can't defend his pick.
It's more fun. And then Tommy said, "Can we actually?"
It's easy to bash on him either way.
Can we actually set this up? I will bring the hot cocoa. Yeah, I'll send out emails to all of these actors and actresses to see if they'd be interested in getting together for a hypothetical snowball fight.
Yeah, with each other and us.
Joey said the disrespect towards Gina Davis is absurd. No disrespect towards Gina Davis. Just not sure in a snowball fight she would have been my first pick.
Yeah.
Like The Rock versus Gina Davis in a snowball fight. I'll take The Rock.
Choosing her in this context is disrespectful.
Keith just set Gina Davis up to get pelted by a snowball.
Yeah.
Is what he did right there.
Does not belong. Poor woman just minding her own business.
Whew. We'll get the results of this posted up on Twitter, guys, for everyone to vote on. I am very curious which of these teams is going to win because I think there's an argument for each and every one of our teams right here. But coming up, we are going to break down some dynasty trade values using our friend Alex Peaked in High School, aka the Trade Daddy's trade charts. So stick around here on Better Sports Network.
What's going on, everybody? Matt Bruning here with Campus of Canton and the Better Sports Network to give you the better bowl bets for Thursday the 22nd through Saturday the 24th. And we're going to start with Baylor versus Air Force. Baylor's defense is bad in the secondary, but that's not going to matter in this matchup as Air Force only throws the ball 12% of the time. Air Force does run the ball a ton, obviously, but Baylor's rush defense is good. 15th in rush per EPA, 10th in rushing explosiveness, and 10th in success rate. Lean Baylor here, but this is not that much of a mismatch that I feel that great putting bets on it. Next up, Houston versus Louisiana. Houston's offense should be good without Nathaniel Does going to the NFL because of the emergence of freshman Matthew Golden. 19 receptions, 335 yards, and 5 touchdowns over the last 4 games. They're 11th in both EPA per pass and passing success rate. And under Dana Holgorsen, their head coach, they have been incredibly efficient in late down success rate, 53%, ranked 13th. Louisiana's offense is struggling, 98th in EPA per play and 113th in pass success rate, but their defense is good, 21st in EPA per pass. Lean Houston here because of Louisiana's struggling offense, but the defense and special teams is good enough to create a mismatch. Wake Forest versus Missouri. Missouri's defense is good here, 24th in defensive EPA, 19th in defensive success rate, but they had key opt-outs on the defensive line and Isaiah McGuire and DJ Coleman. Offense, though, not great, and leading wide receiver Dominic Lovett is in the portal. Wake Forest offense is very good. Sam Hartman probably playing his last game for Wake Forest, going to possibly Florida, and A.T. Perry is bound for the NFL. The offense has struggled a little bit down the stretch, but I think that they're going to be able to get this one. Play Wake Forest at the 1.5. There's too many opt-outs on Missouri's defense for this to not be more than a field goal. Last but not least, Middle Tennessee versus San Diego State. This is nice and easy here. There's big differences in San Diego State's defense versus Middle Tennessee's offense. Just play San Diego State. Thank you guys so much. And lastly, I just want to say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everyone here and all of you who are listening and supporting us here at the Better Sports Network. We couldn't be doing this without you guys. Thank you for rocking with us this year. Make sure to stay tuned into everything Better Sports Network every day for the up-to-date bowl bets, and tune into Campus to Canton every Saturday morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern.
Yeehaw! What's up, everyone? Welcome back into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. I know we're supposed to talk dynasty trade values, but all I can think of is celebrities and snowball fights. I'm stuck. I'm going to be thinking about it all day. I'm going to be playing the scenarios out. Like, my mom's going to walk in here and I'm going to have like a ton of my childhood action figures like set up on the floor, like playing like, Tiffany Haddish just got knocked out, but Danny DeVito's in it. He's left. He's going to bring all the
I'll tell you, it's only fair. Last time around we did a draft, I did add someone off waivers. I made an ad drop. So maybe if you think of something in the next 5-10 minutes that you really want, we can allow maybe one ad drop. That's fair?
I
maybe
feel so good with my
short waiver period if somebody does want to change their mind. But
yeah,
only
free to change your mind.
In fairness, I'm not. My team is a wagon. My team is, it's locked in.
We got a wagon of a team on this side over here as well. Keith in the chat saying, I feel like that's directed at him.
Keith, if you want to drop any of the old ladies off your team, or
the old men,
geriatric gentlemen.
Yeah, you know what? Joey was right that Gina Davis is getting too much disrespect because we have not focused enough on the Clint Eastwood pick. He is a very old guy that's going out there for a snowball fight. That's
nothing but respect for him, but
I love
he
Clint
looks like he's going to break.
I love Clint Eastwood.
If we're talking about the different categories, the leadership that Clint Eastwood brings, Keith's leadership meter is full. My team, Keanu, I'm not sure. Keanu's more of a loner than a leader. I'm not sure I have the leadership that he has over there. Who would be the leader on you guys' team?
Ooh.
It would try, like, I feel like Chris Hemsworth would try to be, but then no one would let him. They'd all just be roasting him.
No one would listen. Yeah.
There'd be no leader.
I think Anna Kendrick's taking charge of my team. I think Anna Kendrick is getting in there, taking charge of my team. She's got the leader aspect to her. Like she can rally the troops to get going.
Yeah, I like that sound. I think that's true. And I'm gonna amend mine actually. I'm gonna say Kevin Hart is the leader of mine because he's gonna try and be orchestrating people. That dude works.
Oh, and he's gonna motivate them like nobody's business.
Yeah, it's gonna be funny too.
Yeah, I'm not sure who
he's
the
gonna
leader
say. He's gonna say underdog for overdog odds.
Overdog, where you at?
You would think Keanu Reeves would be the leader of mine, but he's probably just gonna go off solo. With just
shake people's hands, shake babies, kiss hands.
Probably has to be Guy Fieri. Dude. He's
Guy Fieri.
directing the kitchen.
His frosted tips give him power, authority.
He's handcrafting these meatball snowballs and just kind of giving guys
wearing the sunglasses and everything.
Absolutely, yeah. He's just got a bowling shirt on, no sweatshirt, just wearing a bowling
beanie
shirt.
also has frosted tips.
Oh, without it, he's got a Guy Fieri hair beanie like that you can buy, and he's wearing that on top of his hair to stay warm.
This is Flavor Town.
He just wets his actual hair and lets it freeze into literal frosted tips.
He's gonna be out of breath in like the first 30 seconds.
That's why we have him sitting in the kitchen, dog. He's not making a lot of moves. He's hanging back, sending out the orders, cooking the meat the balls. The orders. He's like here's a spicy meatball for Mr. Danny DeVito.
For Danny DeVito's loving it.
Gives it to The Rock to go deliver it. Order.
You're just setting up like a supply chain.
And dude, I hope you boys are hungry.
Meatballs for dinner.
Meatball snowballs are on the menu. Perfectly crafted. Handcrafted.
And keep saying Danny DeVito is old and small. You hit the key there. Small
and small. And unhealthy, probably.
And just insane. Insane. I feel like the reasons you're drafting Clint Eastwood went away with age. The reasons I'm drafting Danny DeVito, I think, gets stronger the older he gets. Like, I think he becomes more and more of a wild card down there. We'll see, though. I'm curious the results of this one. Guys, I know we want to talk snowballs all day, but I also want to talk about some Dynasty trade value charts. Guys, our friend Alex, Peaked in High School. You can find him on Twitter at PeakedInHS_FF. Puts out these weekly trade value charts. And now that it's the offseason, it is Dynasty trade time. So he's got some beautiful Dynasty trade value charts. I'm looking at them right now on Peaked in High School. That's schoolwithak.com, peakedinhighschool.com. You can click the Dynasty tab. You can check him out on Patreon as well if you want early access and access to more detailed reports, access to his Discord, all there on his Patreon too. John Luke, it's Dynasty trade season. Have you made any Dynasty trades yet now that the regular trade window has ended?
No, I haven't. I think most of my leagues have a trade deadline. Most of my Dynasty leagues do. But I've been itching to. It feels like as soon as the trade deadline hits, all of a sudden I really just all I want to do is make trades. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the offseason. As soon as it hits, I think I'll be sending out some offers.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm curious from like the running back perspective here. Whenever I'm looking at these trade charts, the name at the top, it is still some of the older names that are sitting here at the top of these trade charts. I see Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley as the top 2 running backs on this trade chart right now in Dynasty and single PPR. Are those your top 2 running backs in Dynasty, or are you looking at some of these younger guys like Kenneth Walker a little bit below, Breece Hall a little bit below, Travis Etienne a little bit below those guys?
I don't see why Saquon Barkley would be. Am I looking at the right thing? Is this not one QB? What's the scoring system? Is this PPR?
One PPR.
One PPR. I think I'm looking at that right. I don't see why CMC would be below Saquon Barkley. That to me would be a mismatch. And Kenneth Walker above Christian McCaffrey. But Saquon Barkley, at least, they're the same age, if I'm not mistaken.
Is there a one QB one, or what are we look? Which one are we looking at? Are we looking at the
one quarterback,
top one, one quarterback Dynasty trade value.
Sorry, I was looking at the 2 QB one.
2 QB.
2 QB.
No, I'm with you, JL. Kenneth Walker and Travis Etienne kind of sitting there in that area. It's a little bit surprising to see them below some of these older guys, especially in Dynasty. Like I might still value Christian McCaffrey ahead of Travis Etienne in Dynasty. I think he can help you win in the next 2 years. But I'm surprised that the general consensus has it that way, because from what I see, people love these young running backs. Whenever you get a taste of what Breece Hall can do, what Kenneth Walker can do, what Travis Etienne can do, it seems like we're ready to anoint them top 3 immediately. We saw it with Javonte Williams last year, right? We just got a peek at what Javonte Williams could be. All of a sudden, he was a top 3 Dynasty back. He's fallen out of that since then. But I'm surprised. I'm surprised Kenneth Walker specifically and Breece Hall aren't up there like top 3.
So let's talk about where they're at here in the trade values here on the chart. So CMC has a trade value of 81. He's in that first tier. I guess this one doesn't have the tiers like the redraft one does. CMC, yeah, towards the top here. Breece Hall is in that first top tier. We got Austin Eckler, Travis Etienne, Kenneth Walker, Saquon Barkley, and Jonathan Taylor. And then there's a drop off. There's drop off before you get to Nick Chubb, Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift, Ramondre Stevenson, Josh Jacobs, Mixon, and Cook. Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. That's about in line with what I expect. I expect to see Najee Harris up there, maybe in that tier 2. But I understand it's probably a lot of recency that's going into that. Alvin Kamara's falling out.
It seems pretty clear that there's a certain age where guys do drop out, because otherwise Derrick Henry would probably be higher, but he's like 29. You know, Austin Eckler seems to be hit a little bit by it, even though he's like the RB1 this year. So I don't know, because CMC and Saquon aren't quite there yet. Saquon's 25 going on 26 this year, right? So he's not quite where Derrick Henry is. He's got enough top tier years left. And I think what people forget is that only one team gets to win, right? Everyone makes all these big plans for the future, but the teams that have Austin Eckler, the teams that have Christian McCaffrey, those teams win now. And sometimes you make all these big plans for later and forget that you actually have to win the league at some point.
You make a big spaghetti, but then no one's there to eat it.
But you don't have the Guy Fieri there to make the meatballs.
What are you going to do?
No one else can make a meatball besides Guy Fieri. That's what you got to do.
CMC is just, I guess, a year younger or a year older than Saquon.
Maybe that's the difference in value that we're seeing right there. Because they're practically equal. Saquon at 84, Christian McCaffrey at 81. Christian McCaffrey just a little bit older there.
I can't do math. I can't do date math.
Date math.
Can't figure it out.
Hi.
Date math.
I'm date math.
Nice to meet you.
Me plus you equals love. Date
Next.
math.
Sorry, I thought we swipe right.
You thought we were on the MTV dating show Next from the early 2000s?
Yeah.
Simon's favorite.
I love that show so much.
We're gonna do a fantasy football next.
Yeah, we were gonna do it because the bios would always be like, it would pop up, be like, attended high school in Palo Alto, California, sucks on his toes daily, and has never called his mom by anything but her first name. Like, and like that'll be their bio.
I think the calling your mom by your first name always thing is even the bigger red flag than the toes thing.
Oh, 100%, without a doubt. It's just it's my second favorite game show of all time, I think, just from like an absurdity perspective or like reality show. But next, it's phenomenal. It's trash in every way. There's nothing.
What's first for you?
From a chaos perspective, it is Baggage with Jerry Springer. Have you ever watched that show, that dating show?
No.
The whole premise is everyone who's on it comes with extreme baggage, and they've got all these suitcases, and they'll reveal like the suitcases, like the baggage, and it'll start out simple, like bites their fingernails. But then by the end, it'll be like sleeps in a full crib every night because they like to pretend they're a baby. And the person has to pick which person with extreme baggage that they want to date, like which person's baggage they can accept. But it's always nuts. It's Jerry Springer level baggage.
My favorite.
Jerry Springer.
Yeah, that sounds like absolute chaos.
It's trash. It's the best trashy TV show ever.
And look who it is. Say Jerry Springer, and look who shows up. Jake Trowbridge in the chat. So it's
Class.
literally a trash reality show. Here's my trash.
What's up, Jake? Welcome in.
What up,
Jake's the
Jake?
man,
Good morning,
dude.
my friend.
We gotta, now that we have
Jake is
Jake,
the man.
we should corner Jake into coming on the show.
Oh, we should. I've been meaning to ask him for a while now because I feel like a lot of our games he would.
I need those. I need those.
Hypothetically,
those sweet impressions in my life. I need that on here.
The impressions.
The Celebrity Snowball Fight Draft, he would have had an impression for us for every draft pick, except maybe Gina Davis.
Damn, now we didn't invite him now.
I have a difficult game show question for you fellas. If you could be on one, you could only be on one. Would you rather be on Nickelodeon Guts, the one with the aggro crag, or would you rather be on Legends of the Hidden Temple?
Legends of the Hidden Temple, no doubt in my mind. That was like, I loved that show.
JL, what are your thoughts?
Don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know what either of those things are.
What?
Really? You never seen those? Oh, those are top tier. Producer Keith says Guts.
I would have picked Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Now that's a show. Now that's a game
a show.
That's a lot of fun. The points are made up. A lot of the points on this show are kind of made up. But I do Guts. The thing about, I think I'd rather be on Legends of the Hidden Temple, but dude, the trophy you get if you climb the aggro crag, that, you know what I'm talking about, Simon? That like mountain shape.
No, 100%.
To have one of those, in your house, it would be prominently displayed right here if I had one of those puppies.
I might actually get a fantasy football trophy from a league that we won last year today, that I won last year, JL. Our league trophy from our Dynasty League will be prominently displayed behind me tomorrow. Not that one, the 4.5 foot one.
The big boy.
The big boy one that Landon's been holding on to me nicely. So finally, I'll have at least one of my two trophies before I lose them both in a week.
Yeah,
I love
Ladarius.
Ladarius in the chat. Legends of the Hidden Temple, the only answer, because I'm not climbing the aggro crag. That is,
I'm not climbing the aggro.
Yeah,
What up,
Joe,
Ladarius?
look up what the aggro crag is. It's like, dude, you had to climb this mountain with like these like fake rocks coming down and smacking you in the face, dude. It was pretty intense for a kid's game show. But yeah, I feel you, Ladarius. At this, I don't know if I'm nimble enough. I don't know if I'm nimble enough to tackle the crag.
Nah, yeah, that was like it was like Ninja Warrior, but for children and more aggressive. Where they just like throw stuff at you while you're doing ninja stuff.
Ninja in the chat asks thoughts on Bijan Robinson in the NFL draft next year. Will he be drafted high in fantasy? What do you guys think?
Oh yeah. That I think even with the quarterbacks that people are excited about, even in Superflex leagues, you can consider Bijan Robinson as the number one overall pick with how good he is. Like the more I watch that dude, I've started getting into the rookies for next year. Man, I'm gonna have trouble not getting like full excited, like Saquon Barkley levels of excited for Bijan Robinson coming in.
There's a lot of people that are saying that he's the best prospect we've had since Barkley. That he's just he's a chef's kiss.
Seen him compared to Ezekiel Elliott coming out of Ohio
You're not
State.
gonna be mad about that if you get Zeke
No, you are not.
He's a top 10. Zeke was a top 10 running back for 6 straight years to start, and one of those years he was suspended for like 6 games, and he was still top 10 running back.
A players as like lifetime value in Dynasty. So like how they're like what are they going to return over their career, over some time frame? And it's hard to make a case for anyone over Zeke for best lifetime value of career so far.
Mike Evans.
Still think I'd give
but
it to Zeke.
positional scarcity or positional longevity. I think it does.
The
go
thing is,
like,
at the end of it, we'll see where Mike Evans goes. But at the end of the day, Mike Evans might have a lot more left in the tank still now.
Right. And that goes into the career, the name stuff. Which, getting back to the Dynasty trade value charts, typically why I like to I always like moving running backs, because running backs, their careers are much shorter, so their leverage is much more volatile in a shorter time frame. Joey in here said I made a Dynasty trade last week, sent Aaron Jones for Dameon Pierce. What do you guys think about that?
I like it. And looking at this trade value chart, they're in the same tier, but Dameon Pierce is a little bit higher. They're at a 48 trade value. Aaron Jones at 43. It makes sense at this point in Aaron Jones' career to trade him for a young running back. I was nervous about Dameon Pierce because of the draft capital, right? He wasn't a day one pick, so you get nervous about them adding more, but it looks like they trust the dude there, and hopefully this team gets better.
And Aaron Jones is right at that age. He's 28 now. He's right at that age. When it happens, you don't even see it coming. You really don't. Like, people did not think about Melvin Gordon, how high he was ranked, and then how quickly he fell down. Zeke, think about Jamal Charles. Jamal Charles on this chart would have been, right there, and then the very next year he was completely off it. Like, it can happen like that. Todd Gurley, of course. I mean, that's a tough one. DeMarco Murray, another one where you just get that workload, and that was it. You're done. So I love how that question was asked 10 minutes ago, and everything since then has been about Nickelodeon game shows. We got to get this one back on track here. I'm looking at the chat.
I look at some of these names on here, like some young running backs that have dealt with injury. J.K. Dobbins sitting down here in tier 4, right at the top of it, but 37. That seems like a buy to me right now. That seems like a player that you should be going out and trying to trade for based on what we've seen the past couple of weeks with him coming back, looking good. Like, if he's healthy, he is the dude on one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL. Lamar Jackson's, I guess, is still up in the air if he's coming back next year or not, but I trust J.K. Dobbins. I think he deserves to be up there, like closer to Joe Mixon, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Najee Harris, Dameon Pierce than he is down here with A.J. Dillon, David Montgomery, Rashad White.
Yeah, and the thing with these charts, like that's what Alex always says. If he were here, he would tell you, like, this is what the public thinks. You got to take your own sentiment and take the current sentiment. Like, if you don't think this is adjusted yet, right? If people aren't even adjusting their ranks and stuff yet, then you got to take that and take advantage of it. Like, for me, we talked about Saquon Barkley. I've seen a million quotes by Saquon Barkley that says he wants to be one of the greatest all time. He wants to leave a long-lasting legacy. Legacy is something he thinks about and cares about. That kind of stuff is not going to be captured in like a statistical chart or a chart that factors age and things like that. So you got to think about your own personal thoughts on that. So you look at this and like J.K. Dobbins, I feel the same way. JL, I'm sure you love J.K. Dobbins as well, as we know. So do you think he should be higher than where he is, or you think he's appropriately ranked there?
I think he's probably appropriately ranked, given his history, given what we've seen from him so far and the team he's on. You think you would take, given the choice, you would rather have Aaron Jones than J.K. Dobbins? No.
Would you rather have Alvin Kamara?
That's closer.
Tony
Pollard? Would you rather have Tony Pollard?
No.
So I think
those guys are. I think Aaron Jones and Tony Pollard are overvalued here.
Gotcha. Would you rather have Miles Sanders?
No. Maybe, yeah, actually.
So
I don't know. That one's tough. They're close.
I think looking at this chart, J.K. Dobbins at the top of the orange section, the darker orange section. I think he should be at the bottom of the yellow section instead, right? In that group.
Or some of those yellow names moved on down to that orange section. Yeah. But it looks like there's a gap in where he's being valued, at least with how we're looking at him. Some names ahead of him that we would definitely take over him. A name that keeps getting... What's up, Joe?
Nicholas in here said, I miss Breece Lightning. Yeah, Breece Hall up here in that top tier, right underneath CMC. So it's good to see him retaining his value.
RB5
flashing. Yeah, helped a ton.
He looked great. If he comes back to what he was before the injury, then he absolutely deserves to be there, possibly even higher.
He's ranked ahead of Austin Eckler right now. He's much younger, but JL in a dynasty league, do you want Austin Eckler or Breece Hall?
Not even close. It's Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, not even close. Coop, you as well?
Yeah.
You see enough from him to to overcome that age gap or the worry about his injury?
They're similar enough. I mean, his pass catching is amazing. So they're similar enough to me that I would do it. Because here's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised to see Breece Hall outscore Austin Eckler in the next year or two, and then you have a similar player with like 6 more years, right?
Yeah, like the performance that you get from Austin Eckler, I think Breece Hall can give you next year.
Right, exactly.
Or close to it.
That's where you got to draw the line. And I was going to say the one thing I love about this trade chart is that it helps illustrate the long-term value of wide receivers. Like, see how a lot of those wide receivers are bunched up there ahead
Not
of
moving a ton.
Right, not moving a ton. Just because the age apex for wide receivers in this league is like 26, 27, 28 years old. That's when most of the super high-end seasons come from, that age group. So you think about a guy like DJ Moore, he's still like 25. Like, he hasn't even hit the apex where these guys usually come out and have these crazy seasons. So a lot of these guys are going to hold their value for longer. And what you really need to think about is where you are in your trajectory. If you're competing now, maybe you trade younger wide receivers for older running backs and win now. If you think you need to do like a bit of a bridge year or you need to rebuild a bit, you go the other way. You trade your older players for the wide receivers who are going to hold that value longer. And this chart does a real good job of that, because you wouldn't normally think, oh, Drake London versus Joe Mixon. I'm not going to do that. I'd rather have Mixon. But in Dynasty, you got to realize that Drake London could be useful for another 10 years, right? Where Joe Mixon, it's like, what, 3?
Yeah. Looking at, like, imagining their trajectory, their value trajectory on just a graph over time, right? You got to think about these players. Which direction are they going on that graph? Like Austin Eckler, he's probably past his prime, right? We're probably on the back end of Austin Eckler's productive career. And so from now on, it's only going to get closer and closer to the end of that, right? Someone like Breece Hall, they have all that in front of them. But I like that call out, Coop, that wide receivers aren't moving as much. And you got to think about, like, I think about these players as it's almost like assets, right? Like, the wide receiver asset class is going to be more secure and retain their value a bit more. But you can kind of ride these running backs to figure out where, ride the swings essentially to get value for yourself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, now, are you guys in the favor of, because this is always the biggest question. It's a huge debate on Reddit a lot of times, is, are you the type of guys that like to move guys and try and avoid the cliff by any means possible? Or are you okay with letting guys retire on your team? And I'll give an example right now, a guy like Zeke, where you think the cliff is coming. Are you the kind of guy that moves away from that guy? Or you say, I'm going to hold this guy and get the rest of my money's worth out of him?
It depends on the player.
Go ahead.
It depends on the player for me. Or let me be like even more specific. It depends on the position. With tight end and running back, I'm a lot more likely to let them sit on my roster. I feel like the careers are shorter and it's harder sometimes to identify stars in that area, right? I'll just take the 3 or 4 good years of Joe Mixon and then maybe trade him at a discounted value to a contending team the following year after it's fallen off a little bit. At tight end, I'm not trading. I'll let Travis Kelce just live on my team until he's no longer good anymore. I'm not going to trade him away because I'm not confident that by trading him away, I'll be able to replicate that value. And maybe that's just because I often build my teams around wide receiver strength, so I feel more comfortable with wide receivers. What about you, John Luke?
Yeah, I agree with you. It depends on the player. I think it also depends on my team and my strategy. And so I'm looking at this as a trade-off. Is the value I'm going to get from them actually performing more valuable to me and my team in that strategy I'm trying to execute on? Or is the value I can get in the trade market more valuable? And that's how I sort of look at it.
100%. Guys, that is going to be it for us today. Everyone who joined us, thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern time. But until then, we are out of here. Enjoy your Wednesday and start getting prepped for your playoff semifinals. Adios, everyone.
See you tomorrow.